It is hot, hot, hot. And hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the first live stream. We're going to be discussing Fallout, Hazbin Hotel, Interview with a Vampire, maybe a little bit My Hero Academia, maybe a little bit of some other stuff, but overall, we react to some shows I've just been watching. So we're going to start off with Fallout. So Fallout, if you have not watched it, it's 8 episodes. It's on Amazon Prime. Really good. So my introduction to Fallout was, I know it's based off games. It's based off games by Bethesda. I think the last one that came out was what, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. I've never played Fallout. The closest I've gotten to Fallout was the mobile app and Fallout 76, which is the online multiplayer game. That's as close as I've gotten to Fallout. That's as close as you're gonna get with me. So, but after watching the show, I definitely want to play Fallout 4. Cause I think after the Fallout series, like a lot of people went and bought Fallout 4 and Fallout Las Vegas. So Fallout, basically, it's sort of like this alternative Earth. You know, it's like take place like 1950s, 60s. Well, people in that time frame is like what they thought the future would be like. So you know, you have like a lot of certain technological advances, but it's not like what we have now, right? So the first episode, you have like essentially the bombs being dropped. So you're like, what? I didn't think they were gonna show it like that. Like, goddamn. Like that was intense. Like that pulled me in. But as you go through the show, I don't want to like ruin the plot line in case you want to watch it yourself. But as you go through the show, through the, I would just say the lens of the 3 main characters, which is Lucy, Maximus, and the Ghoul. Those are your 3 characters you're essentially following. You kind of learn about the world that they inhabit. And you're just like, yo, what the heck, right? So I had watched it first by myself, and then I had watched it again with my mom. Now my mom doesn't know it's based off a video game. She don't know it's based off a game, but she watched it and she liked it. She thoroughly enjoyed it. She's just upset that she has to wait for season 2 because it's only 8 episodes. But I really love it. I would have to say my favorite character would have to be the Ghoul. I love his theme music. You just hear that yelling, like that yodeling noise when he pops up. I love. He's like my favorite character. He's my favorite character. But after watching the show and learning stuff about, what happened with the bombs went down, the whole thing with Vault Tech and the overseers and all the other stuff, I feel bad now when I play my Fallout game on the mobile Fallout game, because when I play on the mobile app, right? So on the mobile app, you start off, it kind of gives you like, you're the overseer of Vault. You pick your Vault number, right? You pick your Vault number. You're the overseer. So it starts off with, you got to build your room. So you have the main vault door, right? Then you got to build like the different rooms. So you have the electricity room, you got your power room, the water room. You got to have food. You got the sleep, the living quarters, right? And after watching Fallout, I felt bad because how I would treat my dwellers, right? Like if they had I would try to match everybody up until the rooms that they're perfect with. Like if you had high perception, then you went to I think that's the water treatment room. High strength, you went to electricity. High agility, it went to food. And some of them, if they had a high charisma, I put them in the living quarter so they could essentially be breeders, right? But the ones whose health wasn't that high, I literally just sent them in a wasteland to die because I was like, I need to get rid of you. Because you're taking up too many resources. Like, because I realized that, and I feel so bad. Because I feel like, oh my god, I'm just like the people in the Fallout show. Like, oh my god. But that is a messed up thing when you think about, like, it's just the concept of what goes on when they go into this big reveal with the whole thing with the votes, and that essentially people are not people. It's the people who's making the decision. It's not politicians. It's not, it's not the ministers. It's not people that's it's the politics. It's the corporations, which is kind of scary when you look at real life. Actually, when we looking at the stuff now, if you looking at our our actual real world, and how many bills and laws are being passed through the House and Senate, is because these politicians are being paid essentially by corporations. And you're like, how far are we from an actual Fallout series at this point, really? Because people are not being looked at as people. We're looked at as essentially products. We're looked at as profit margins. You know what I'm saying? So that is what makes Fallout, to me, even though it's based off a video game, that's what makes it kind of eerie and scary to me, is how much of reality it is. Because when you get to that, was it episode 8 or was it episode 7? It was either episode 7 or 8 when you get into the big reveal. If you have not seen Fallout, leave the stream and go watch it on Amazon Prime. Leave the stream. So, right, and you get to the big thing, and you see the people who's making these decisions. It's corporations, it's scientists, so to speak. And then they discuss about how they're gonna run the votes, and each vote is literally an experiment on people. And it's like, what? Why? Like, and even when you get to movies like this, where there's always this dystopian future, where there's Fallout, you got what's another one? Resident Evil is another popular one. What's another one? The Maze Runner. What's the other one? Divergent, right? So you have like all the Hunger Games. So you have these dystopian type, world, and it's like, what's the point? What's the point? Especially when you look at the ones such as like Resident Evil and Fallout. So Fallout, we have the bombs going off. Resident Evil, it's the T virus, right? So if you're the person who's the rich and elite, who you're gonna rule over if you're the only ones living? You know what I'm saying? If the world is infected by the T virus, is the majority of the world is dealing with radiation, who you gonna live off of? How you still making money? Because you can't make money without the people that you're experimenting on. You're doing these social experiments on, the people that you're turning to zombies. You have no money without them. It's the same thing when you look back at the movie 2012. That was, like, in terms of natural disaster movies, that was an awesome movie. Like, the visual effects in that one, for me, if I had to pick my favorite natural disaster film, 2012 is it. Because even in the movie 2012, when you see the people getting on the arcs, essentially the whole Nora thing. So you get people getting on arcs, and the way they have to pay for it, those people is rich, but the people you're seeing them getting on there, you talking about they're kings, they're monarchies, they're people with money. And it's like, okay, so let's say, if all the people on these arcs are essentially just the 1%, the rich, the elite, and the rest of the world dies, how are you still gonna have your money? Because I'm pretty sure the British monarchy, once the world has, the whole world has been flooded, right? And now you have to essentially rebuild the population. Who's gonna be your builders? Who's your builders? Because you didn't kill all the builders off. You let the builders drown. Because you gotta think about it. Like, I think that's the thing that's not looked at in when you get these type of dystopian films. Who's gonna be building this if all the rich people are left? Because I'm pretty sure rich people who are used to this life of luxury, the 1%, y'all ain't gonna sit there build start building bricks by bricks and stuff like that. Y'all ain't building a house. Y'all ain't building a new skyscraper. Y'all ain't building no bridges. Who do you got doctors up there? Because you gotta talk about medicine. So you need people who know who then went to school for the human body and stuff like that. Then you need to talk about lawyers because you need people who understand the words and stuff that is written in contracts and things like that. Because a lot of jargon in contracts is like Latin. I mean, yes, billionaire birthday, but are they gonna sit there and write those contracts? I doubt it. I doubt it. So you talk about doctors, lawyers. You need people to be instruction. Who's gonna build? Who's gonna build the do the electricity? Because I don't see y'all doing it. Who's gonna? You talk now. We talking about you need to power the system. If you still trying to go back into a technological future, you need electricity. You need somebody to man that. You need somebody to build that and man that. You talking about your sewage system. Who's going to build that? Because definitely not going to be the rich and the elite. I don't see those type of people talking about let's go dig a trench so we could get the sewage system up and running. I don't see them doing that. So that's what always baffles me when it comes to these dystopian type futures, like with Fallout. Like you have these people that survived up top. They're dealing with radiation. Some of them have not been radiated, but most of them most likely have some sort of radiation that's not gonna die out for years upon years, and are giving birth to children that's going to be born with this sort of radiation, especially since we saw in the first episode you didn't drop like what, that was 4 of them that dropped. So you talking about the amount of radiation that's coming from those things. You talking about you dropping multiples, and not only that, but then they dropped it again because we see that with we keep seeing this flashback of this kid coming out of the refrigerator that was supposed to be 200 years ago. You're like, well, how is he in the refrigerator seeing the brotherhood that's supposed to be happening 200 years ago? Alright? So you talk about more radiation put into the world. You know what I'm saying? Like animals have been mutated. You talking about if you do find an animal like we saw that deer with Lucy, that deer meat more than likely is radiated. So you have all this radiation. If you kill these people off, who is going to be your working class, your labor class force? Because again, the wealthy is not going to be your working class. I doubt they would ever even get to the point of doing that. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. All right. And so I always just found that interesting with those type of dystopian futures. Is always the rich is making the decisions, or corporations making the decisions that affects the entire world, and they're making sure to save themselves. But how you still gonna have money once this is over? How you still gonna have money? I just love that. There's also we also see not only the effects of essentially in Fallout is the fact that it's the corporations that made this decision. We also see this thing with the Brotherhood. You also saw to see this religious aspect, and it's just like these things don't change. No matter where you go, you always gonna have people with money and people with and religious factors. They're always going to be like the main components when it comes to the concept of power and control over people, because we see what happens when people get religious. Like history has shown us, like look at the Dark Ages that happened in Europe. Women was being killed by freaking dozens because of crap that made no sense whatsoever. We see how religion affects people. I mean, that's why you have cults. We have people that's desperate for we have people that's desperate for some sort of solace or something to make sense of their life, and then they turn to these people which they're using religion, regardless of whatever religion you may follow, They're using a religion to essentially brainwash these people, right? And a perfect example of this is in the movie The Mist. If you have, I believe, yeah, The Mist is written by Stephen King, but the film version, the movie, and where this mist comes in and there's these creatures in the mist, right? And in I think this is like a little convenience grocery store. You have this woman. She's like a religious woman, but you see that through fear of how she takes control over the people within the store, and they starting to sacrifice people and stuff. They sacrificed the poor military dude, and then the next day she was like, "Let's sacrifice the little boy. We're gonna sacrifice that whore." The only reason she picked out that woman because that woman had slapped her earlier, so she's upset. So now she uses religion to take out a vendetta against that woman, and also the whole Abraham sacrificed his son to God, and now she's gonna take an innocent child is just that weird. That same thing in the movie The Book of Eli with Denzel Washington and what's the name, Gary Oldman, and throughout the movie they're going after him for this book. They needed this book, so you're like, oh my god, what's the book? I remember watching. I was like, oh, what is this book they want so goddamn bad? So when you get to it in the movie, it's the Bible, and you're like, the Bible. But when you think about how religion plays on people, regardless of religion, you're talking about, it could be Christianity, it could be Islam, it could be whatever religion, whatever Buddhism, is the power of religion has over people, especially when you instill fear, especially when you have fear in people, and you have religion. It's crazy. So that's definitely one thing I do love about the Fallout series. You kind of see this dynamic play out of just human behavior. This is one of the things I do love about these type of dystopian books, where it's a movie, is a book, is a video game, is this dystopian look, and you're just watching human behavior. That's what makes you think it's the human behavior, because that does not change. No matter what time period, it does not change. And speaking of human behavior, X-Men 97, which we are currently in the finale of episode 8, has just recently aired. We have 2 more episodes to go in the finale, and I am like, what the hell? Like, X-Men 97, like, yo, Magneto was right. Like, like, it's sad to say, but it's like, when you look at history, we know right from wrong. It's like, it's 2024. We know right from wrong. We know what's right. We know what's wrong. But yet we still do it. It's like, are we just programmed to constantly keep doing this stuff? Like what's wrong with humanity? It's like, we know what's wrong. We know it's wrong, but it's like certain groups just want to keep this status quo up, and it just keeps perpetuating. It's like, why are we doing this as humanity? Oh, but like, I was upset though, because when they started talking about absolute points, I'm like, don't say that to me. Why are you gonna bring up absolute points? Because I watched the episode of Doctor Strange. What if season 1, when we have the Doctor Strange episode of Doctor Strange lost his heart, right? So it's basically the events of the it's pretty much what if Doctor Strange self losing his hands in the car crash, he lost his girl Christine, right? And so throughout the entire episode, he is literally going back and trying to prevent her from dying, and every time he tries, he just dies a different way. Like, he tries to slow down, the car still hits him. He tries to go a different route, he gets hit by a truck. He tries to leave her at he tries to stay at a party, she catches a heart attack. He leaves her there, the place catches on fire. He goes to a piece of place, gunman comes in, she gets shot. Like, no matter what he does, she still ends up dying. And that's when the crap, what's her name? I am drawing a blank here. The ancient one? Is what her character called? The ancient one? She comes in and tells Dr. Strange, like, this is an absolute point in time, meaning that this particular event cannot be changed. And so Beast brings that up in the X-Men series, like, because Cable explains, like, he tried to warn his mom, but every time he tries to go and warn her, the time temporal thing pulls him back. And Beast brings up, the studies of Cosmetol They mentioned something about absolute points. When I heard that, I was like, oh no, oh no, like no, because the what happened on Genosha was like crazy. Like we lost Gambit. Okay, we lost Gambit. Like I'm not okay with that because as a kid watching the original X-Men, Gambit was my favorite. All right, he was great. Not only did I have a crush on him, right, but it's also because he was from Louisiana and I'm from Louisiana. So I'm like, yay, X-Men is like me. I mean, I'm not a Cajun, but I'm not Cajun. I got Cajun in my family, but I'm not Cajun myself. I got it like down my line in my family, right? But it's the fact that I could relate to him. Like we from the same place. We's the same people. He eat beet yams, I eat beet yams. Like, yeah, we gonna be at the cookout together, Gambit. Yeah. We gonna be at the cookout together. Yeah. All right. And the whole thing they had with him and Magneto and Rogue, I was like, boy, when she killed me, when she said, you can light up everything except me, I was like, Rogue. Oh, what? Oh, and then that whole dance sequence when she came in that dress and Magneto, they were just dancing in the air. She had floating and just touching hands. Again with Meg walked up. I was like, "Is y'all dancing? Oh, this is foreplay because this was very sensual. This was a very sensual dance in front of everybody. Like, we gotta do all this. Like, I was expecting them to create their own fans at this point with all that going on. Like Like, what are you doing? Like, all on the in front of everybody. I'm like, this is a very sensual dance. Like, he touching her neck, caressing. I'm like, okay, Magneto. Like, I never seen Magneto looking like, was that attractive until I saw Michael Fassbender play him, play a young Magneto. I was like, you know what? I can see it. I can see myself getting with Magneto, right? And then this version of Magneto, they definitely up there. I'm like, I'm not sure who was drawing Magneto in this series, but clearly somebody really was liking Magneto because the way he was drawn in the series, like, had me looking at him like, okay, Magneto, okay, okay. But yeah, but in terms of like the thing with but on serious note, with the whole thing with the mutants, because that's the whole thing. Mutants are an allegory for people who are feeling othered in a society, right? So we get into this thing with X-Men 97. Of course, the whole thing with the Sentinels, right? Professor X has passed away. Magneto's now the leader of X-Men, but and he's trying to be a good person. He's trying to be good. He's not trying to be the mutant terrorist anymore. But that event with Genosha, that literally just that was like the last straw. It was like that was the last straw. And with the lady from the UN, and when she was saying Magneto was right, because she's like, we know better as human beings. We know better. Like, look at our history. We know better. We've seen this time and time again throughout human history. When it comes to each other, hate people. We didn't hated people on because of race. We didn't did stuff because to each other because of gender. We did stuff because of religion. We did stuff to each other because of our sexual orientation. Like, we're constantly doing this stuff to each other, and we don't learn. We keep doing each other. We keep on doing it, and we're always shocked when it happens. And we're always shocked when this happens. Like, oh, like, even like if you look at one of my tweets on thing, I'm like, we're like Magneto. Like, I normally don't agree with villains, but a lot of these villains within the MCU, when you look at characters like Thanos, you got Magneto in X-Men 97, you have Killmonger in the Black Panther. Like, you look at some of the things, like, they going to extremes. They going to extremes. You're like, okay, this kind of extreme. You don't have to go this way, but you understand where they're coming from. Like, you're looking at their reason. Like, I get what you're going. Like, the way you handle going about it, I don't agree with. But you got a point. Like, you got a point, and that's one thing I do love about the MCU is like they're not just like your typical villains. Like, they actually have good points. Like, when you actually look at some of them, they actually have good points. Like, you're like, damn, they making kind of sense. They making some good sense right here. Like, damn. Okay. He makes some good sense. And then there's the whole thing with the which they kind of wrapped up pretty quickly. Which well to me looked like they wrapped up quickly. It was the whole thing with Jean and Scott. But apparently that's always the thing with Jean and Scott in the comics. Apparently they're always because I've seen a Twitter thread like apparently Scott does seem to have a type. He loves psychic women because apparently he's been with a lot of psychics besides Jean. I'm like, damn, he got a type. Okay, Scott. Okay. Scott Summers getting it in. Okay. There was a whole thing with like, and there was whole debate. What episode was it? Crap! It was the whole thing with him. When Jean finds out he's been psychically cheating with Madeline and stuff like that, she's like, "How could you?" She's like, "That's our thing, Scott." Which a lot of people like that. That whole scene right there caused a nice little debate on Twitter with people saying, what people either was like how Jean's kind of a hypocrite because you literally just came from kissing Wolverine. Like Wolverine didn't kiss you, you kissed him. He's the one who backed off. Was like, look, you and Scott is always in game. But essentially what he said, like, and the people, and you got some people like, well, the way they're talking about Jean is like, yeah, some people like, well, the way this acting like Jean did all the same because when Scott was in the wrong, and people talking about Jean being misogynistic and stuff like that. My thing is, one, okay, we don't know when they will switch, but as far as we know, Scott is married to Madame Pryor. I'm not sure if those two characters got a divorce because it's not stated in the show that they got divorced. She just left. So if she just left and there's no divorce papers signed, he is still legally married to this woman. Now that she's passed away, he's officially not married to her. But her just leaving doesn't mean that they're going to separate it, yes, but legally that is his wife, that is the mother of his child. So him reaching out to her is clearly understandable. I think that's another thing, like people, when it comes to the concept of trauma stuff, because they're just saying, oh, Scott cheating on Jean Grey, that's his wife. How can you cheat on your wife? Technically, if he's messing around with Jean and not Madeline, technically he been with Jean is cheating on Madeline because that Madeline is legally his wife. So it makes sense that Scott is going to reach out to Madeline. They just literally had to give their son up to the future because Sinister and then affected their freaking baby. So they didn't even have this baby for a whole age. Like the baby was literally, the baby is technically is still a newborn. Like she just pushed out this child, and they barely had him. All of a sudden he's infected, and now we got Sinister to the future to ensure he lives. They barely had it, and then Scott also has this issue of abandoning his kid because he was an orphan. You know what I'm saying? So that's very personal. So it makes sense that he's going to reach out to the mother of his child to talk about the loss of his kids. He's not going to reach out to Jean because she didn't have him. So it doesn't make sense for him to reach out to Jean and confide and console her because that's not the mother of his child. She's not going to understand it. Yes, she has that connection with Madeline because their whole memories things jumble. She because as she stated in one of the episodes, she could feel the baby kicking and Scott listening, but she could feel it because she has the memory, but she didn't actually experience it. So yes, Scott is going to reach out to the mother of his child and console her, and they have that connection. Like there's still that attachment there. You can't expect him to all of a sudden be like, oh, Jean's back in it. You can't expect him to pull a Lori. Like in The Walking Dead, like her character ticked me off when that happened, bro. Oh my god, you can't, because I feel like that's what a lot of people were expecting him to do was pull what she did in The Walking Dead. If you remember The Walking Dead, right? Lori, because she thought Rick was dead, right? Rick wasn't dead. Rick come back. All of a sudden, as soon as she saw Rick back, she was telling Shane, she was like just dissing Shane, just dissing him. And then she was, I remember that scene. She was in a tent with Rick, and she was told Rick, she wants what we have. Bitch. Oh, I hated her with a passion in that show. I hated her so much because of how she was acting like, and then she was walking around like she was the queen of the zombie apocalypse, making rules and stuff. Like, ma'am, sit down. Sit down. But that's how I felt like people expected Scott to act when Jean came back. Like, no, Madeline, it's Jean. Jean, I love you. Jean, I love you. Madeline, I don't care. You have my baby. No, there's a whole. He married her. He has an attachment to her. You can't just expect him to just immediately drop that just because Jean's back in life. And not only that, but Jean needs to work with herself because she has to figure out what memory is hers, what memory is not hers. And not only that, but she was kissing on Logan. But apparently that's not a big ass issue. Scott being telepathically communicating with his wife is a bigger issue than Jean kissing on the Wolverine. That was a bigger issue. Like, I was you can't be mad at Scott, but don't be mad at Jean for literally kissing Wolverine and going to Scott. Like, what the heck? You can't be mad. I hate that. I hate when you have double standards for certain characters. Like, that gets on my nerves. Like, oh my god. You can't be mad at Scott, but don't be mad at Jean when she literally kissed another man before coming to her husband. Can you imagine somebody did to you? Your husband coming to you after he done kissed up on a girl, and now he coming up and you kissing up on you. You'll be heated, and vice versa. If your wife was kissing another dude, now she coming up and you talking about, oh baby, I love you, after she done slobbed her lips all on somebody else. Oh my goodness. But like, and then like when they first introduced Bastion, I literally, okay. So my initial thought when I saw him, I was like, oh my god. I was like, cause I thought he was Scott from the future because of how Scott reacted in that interview, right? When Scott was like, when his president was like, but when she was like pressing about, his child, like clearly, ma'am, she was a terrible interviewer. And actually, that seems to be a thing that people do in interviews seem to do, because I've seen like several videos, clips of like people, celebrities being interviewed and being asked very inappropriate questions, like, why are you asking me this question? Like, and the question don't even be nothing related to what they talking about, because you the celebrities, they're doing their press tours and they want to be asked about the movies, and you ask about them something personal, like this has nothing to do with the movie. Why are you asking me this question? Like, and she was like going on about the baby and stuff, asked question about the baby, like man, read the room. He clearly does not want to talk about it. Like, you see it in Scott's face, and he is mad, and he goes into the speech like, because you people, and he's like, thank God you were, because you, like, essentially, like this speech is made, like, essentially was saying like, thank God we're not like you, because if you were us and you had our powers, you would have killed us off immediately. Because these mutants, like, some of them have powers, and that's another thing too, I'm gonna get into a little bit later, but he was essentially saying that good thing that we're not like you, because if you had our abilities, you would have killed us off rip. You would have not hesitated to kill us off rip. So I thought, because of that scene, right, I was like, and then when they showed Bastion, I was like, oh my god. My first thought was, this is Scott from like a future where he was sided more with Magneto's ideology, and he came back. That's what my first thought when I saw that character. I was like, oh, that's a future Scott, and maybe he had finally control over his eyes, right? That was my first thought, but then they really made his name was Bastion, and he's actually born of a Sentinel. It's going into some Terminator time travel type of situation at this point right there. But I was on a third. I wish I should have put Twitter on my freaking tablet. But it was because I've been having like little discussions on TikTok, not TikTok, but Twitter mostly. But it's pretty much going over the idea of Magneto, because in the episode 8, if you watched it, Magneto sets off an EMP, which essentially he shut down the whole world. He literally said, "World, everybody on mute." Shut everything down. It's a lot of people, and Wolverine says Magneto just declared war. And people talking about, well, the casualties, because what we see in the show is just the Sentinels going down. We certain power things going down, and other people bring up, well, because Magneto set off an EMP, right? Anything that's essentially electrical based would have been shut down. So people was talking about like cars, planes. If you had a pacemaker, if talking about people in a hospital that rely on electricity and stuff like that. Oh, he didn't kill millions of people, and a lot of people's like, pretty much agreeing with like, yeah, Magneto's a bad person in this situation, but Magneto has just been pushed to a point. Like, if you remember on the Attack on Genosha, when he was creating this like magnetic field barrier around Leech and the Morlocks, when before that, they're having him having flashbacks of World War II, because y'all remember Magneto is a Holocaust survivor. So during that Genosha incident, he's getting essentially flashbacks of his time during in concentration camps and how he was being a Jewish man in that time period. And now he's being flashed back to that in Genosha. For a person who's already been through something like this and he's going through it again, yeah, I would probably snap too. I would probably snap too. Like, he went to the UN, he went in there voluntarily. He defended the UN Council uh uh from human beings who essentially hate mutants, right? And he's like, I'm trying to be good, but do not let you down. He literally said that. Do not let me let you down. And that's exactly what they did. They let him down. So they let him down. So that's what happened. That was like, you can't expect somebody like Magneto to keep just being like, oh, okay, we're just like, you can't keep oppressing a group of people and not expecting them to retaliate. And that was another thing that actually happened with Beast and a reporter. She was the comment she was making to Beast is like they, because he brought up the whole thing with Martin Luther King, because every time they bring up Martin Luther King, they always bring up the I Have a Dream speech, and they only show you the like half of that speech. They don't tell you the rest of the half of that speech, which is what Beast quoted in the show. They like that part of the speech never gets told. But everybody always wants to quote Martin Luther King all the time, like he had a dream that was supposed to be peaceful, blah blah blah. But what about the rest of his speech? You're literally cherry picking his speech to fit your narrative, and that's exactly what we're being shown within a cartoon context. Is aspects of our reality that is shown in this cartoon context with the X-Men. And like, you can't keep oppressing people and not expecting them to eventually just like, you know what, this is enough. And that's what happened with Magneto. Enough was enough. Genosha, that was it for him. Like, that was it. Like, I tried to be good. I tried. Y'all literally just killed a bunch of freaking mutants. Because at the end of the day, remember, yes, Bastion is the one who's behind the screens, but you gotta remember, Bastion wouldn't have been even the person who he is without the Sentinels, which was created by Trask, Bolivar Trask. The Sentinels, Bastion would even be here if it wasn't for the Sentinels, because the Sentinels because he is a descendant from Nimrod and the three-headed mole Sentinel, right? So Bastion wouldn't even be a thing if it wasn't for human beings. Like, we're literally creating our own demise, and that's another thing I've noticed too with the X-Men. Like, they keep talking about trash, like, because humans, we're gonna go extinct, but you're creating these Sentinels, right? Like, seriously, think about it. Mutants are mutants because of a gene within the human DNA, right? And I think they actually touched on this in the X-Men Days of Future Past film, is the fact that you're creating Sentinels to target mutants, right? But if these mutants are, like, people are born mutants because of the gene, right? Of the X gene, which could be found in any human being, right? So if you're creating Sentinels to kill mutants, what's to stop them from killing people? Because human beings, us normies, we're the ones carrying the gene that eventually it may develop into a person developing a mutant ability, where they might have ability like Storm or Jean or Cyclops, or they may develop a mutant ability where they're just more like the Morlocks, or like or people who have a physical change, but they don't have no abilities. Because that's another thing with the mutants, with the whole X-Men thing. It's like everybody's looking at the X-Men like, oh, this is what mutants are, but not all mutants have a ability. Some of them is just a physical mutation. Some of them is just literally just their physical appearance that changes. They don't get nothing else, just the physical appearance. So if you're creating Sentinels to go after mutants, what's to stop them from going after human beings? Because you guys are we're the ones that's carrying the X gene that develops into that may or may not develop into it's that person may or may not become a mutant at that point. We're literally in the if you actually pay attention, we're literally creating our own demise, and that's actually what happens in the movie Days of Future Past, because they literally explain like the Sentinels created to go after mutants, but then eventually they started enslaving mankind because we're the ones carrying the X gene. It's like, think, we're the ones carrying the X gene. Mutants ain't just pop out the grass. They have. You're giving birth to mutants. They're coming from you. We're the ones carrying the X gene that may or may not develop into a mutant. May or not. You may have the X gene, and you may never get powers, but you still have that gene. It may not happen in your generation. May happen in the next generation. May skip 2 generations. The point is, it's in human beings. So human beings in the X-Men universe are literally are literally sowing their own demise. Essentially, they're literally creating their own demise. Like, that's literally what's happening. We're creating our own demise, and you then created someone like Bastion, who essentially is also gonna kill humans all because he's literally combining human beings with machines. So you're not even human no more. He's talking about he's saving humanity. You're not saving humanity. Whether there are people become essentially just become mutants or you color Sentinels. Either way, humanity is done for. But I would say humanity is probably safer being mutants than being a freaking machine. But literally, it's like you don't even see your hatred is literally blinding you to the fact that you're literally creating your own demise. You're literally creating your own demise. Like, you're literally creating your own death certificate. It's like crazy. Crazy. You're creating your own death. Signing your own future away. Because you're blinded by hatred. And then, let's see, let's talk about X-Men. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where X-Men 97 ends us. If they do, and I've seen some people talk about they need to bring back Spider-Man from the 90s. I love that Spider-Man. It was good Spider-Man. Spider-Man. So if X-Men 97 is pretty good. It's definitely pretty good. Definitely pretty good. And I think they said they want what former season. I think they said season 2 is already done. And I think they said season 2 is already done, so they're working on 3 and 4. I mean, it's a good show. It's good, right? And with Marvel, in terms of how this fits into our Marvel universe, I believe they did say it's MCU canon. It's just like, and that's another thing with terms of MCU, like with all the movies, like with them acknowledging that, not like with the pre MCU films, they're making them canon. A lot of people are like, how does that fit into the timeline? It's like, do y'all understand what a multiverse is? So the Avenger films, from Iron Man to the current, what's the last freaking MCU film they came out with? The Marvels, right? So from Iron Man, right, 2008 Iron Man, all the way to the Marvel, right? That's the main MCU timeline. That's the sacred timeline, okay? If you watch Loki, we would have learned about this in TV, right? You have the sacred timeline, right? You have the sacred timeline, right? The branches, right? Those are alternate timelines, right? Those are the alternate timelines. So that's why we have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, why we have Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, why we have Miles Morales, right? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, right? They exist on the branching timeline, right? So that means all the other films of MCU before the MCU, pre-MCU, exist on these branching timelines. So the Blade trilogy films exist on the branching timeline. Fantastic Four films, the one with Jessica Alba, and then of course the one that had Michael B. Jordan. Those exist on branching timelines. What else was it pre MCU? Daredevil with Ben Affleck. That's a branching timeline. Electro, which was a spinoff from that film, is a branching timeline. So the X-Men original X-Men films. Those are the first X-Men trilogy. Then of course you had the Logan films, and then it was Jesus Christ. There's a lot of goddamn X-Men. Jesus Christ. So all those X-Men those are branching timelines. So yes, they're part of the MCU. They're just the branching timeline. They're not the main sacred timeline. I don't understand why people don't understand the concept of multiverse. Like they explained this in Loki. If you watch the Loki series, they explained this. The sacred timeline, branching timelines, and the concept of variants. We saw this in Ant-Man when we saw all those various Kang variants. There are different variants. We also saw the Loki variant. So you have Loki. He's just different in different branches of timelines. So that's why you had Sylvie. She's a Loki. You had the little kid Loki. You had a black Loki. You had President Loki. You had an alligator Loki, which was so cute and adorable. The point is, those are variants. They're variants. Wanda, Multiverse of Madness. She was literally going after her own variant, trying to steal her own various kids. Variants. Okay? Variants. Why is that hard to compute to some people? I do not understand. But from Iron Man to the Marvels, that's the MCU sacred timeline. The other films, Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Across the Universe, all those are branching timelines. Those are the variants. So with Secret Wars, so with Deadpool 3, obviously, with Deadpool 3, they're going to find, that's how going to be their way of introducing the, probably how they're going to bridge, try to bring into, bring in mutants into the MCU, because we haven't had mutants in the MCU. But what they have done so far is they actually introduced the concept of mutants actually twice in Miss Marvel at the end of in the last episode of her show. My friend told her that he did some interesting stuff about her DNA and found out that she seems to be sort of a mutant. So that's one hand. So it looks like they're setting up Miss Marvel to be a mutant. And then, of course, we have Namor, who was in Black Panther 2, and he also mentioned himself that he was a mutant. So they're slowly introducing the concept of mutants into the MCU. Was it the Externals? I think it was the I said Externals. Eternals. Wow. Oh my God. I think it's in a newspaper. No, was it Eternals? Or was it Captain Marvel? It's in one of those films, but it's a newspaper article where they make a mention of a man with metal claws, right? So they're slowly dropping hints of mutants existing into the MCU. And I've noticed also on Twitter people like, well, because the cool thing with X-Men is like people hate them, right? They hate the X-Men because they feel like they're gonna replace humanity, right? They feel like they're gonna, we're gonna be extinct. Mutants are gonna be the dominant people on the planet. Blah blah blah, blah, right? So people are like, well, I don't see how the X-Men is going to work if people hating them, if people love Iron Man and the Hulk and essentially the Avengers, right? And my thing is, okay, I don't think people are, and that's another thing, I feel like a lot of people are lacking comprehension, right? So there's a difference between mutants and the Avengers, right? Iron Man is a human being who has the money to make himself an Iron Man suit, right? Captain America is a super soldier. The super soldier suit it didn't make him any special. It just enhanced what he already had. It just made him a superhuman. That's it. That's That's it. That's all he got. Superhuman. He is nothing extra. Just made him a little bit more stronger, a little bit more faster, slow down his metabolism a little bit. But he's still a person. He's still human. It just enhances his human qualities a little bit. As he's just a superhuman. That's it. Hulk. Hulk. He was Bruce Banner wasn't born Hulk. That's gamma radiation. That was an accident. That was a freak accident. All right. Or if we say, well, no, technically it's wait, hold on. Because the previous two Hulk films are considered canon now because that's what we're going with the stories, I think. So I'm trying to remember the first Hulk movie. I went to go see that movie in theaters. My mom took me to see that one. I'm trying to remember what happened in that movie because it's been so long since I did see that film. That's the one where he was like super bright lime green. What happened in that film? Because I think his dad infected himself with some sort of gamma radiation, and then he had sex with his wife, and then Bruce was born that way. I think that's how they did it. But essentially, Bruce is gamma radiation, right? He wasn't, it's gamma radiation. Who else? Hawkeye, Black Widow. Those are just spies. That's training they went through to be like that. Thor's born a god. He's born a god. He wasn't, he was born a god. So that's different, right? But yes. So I think that's what people forget. Mutants are born mutants. That's a gene within the human DNA. The X gene within the human DNA. That people are born with. You can't be born Iron Man. You cannot be born the Hulk. You cannot be born Moon Knight. I mean, unless you went through some trauma, you have that aspect of them. But Moon Knight, he's Moon Knight because of the Egyptian deity. Made him essentially his vessel. He's essentially like, hey, Khonshu, I will be your vessel. My Moon Knight, right? Who else? She-Hulk. She got affected with Bruce's blood. Doctor Strange is a person. He learned magic. Like all these Avengers people talking about, oh, they love the Avengers and stuff like that. Y'all keep forgetting these people either have the money, it was a freak accident, they went some sort of training to become who they are. They're not born that way. Except for Wanda. She was born with abilities that just got enhanced by the freaking Infinity Stone. Like even Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was just a regular people. The freaking Tesseract blew up and she absorbed some of that radiation. Now she's Captain Marvel. Ant-Man is literally a dude in a suit. That's science. That's science, okay? X-Men are born the X-Men. So yeah, you're going to have people that's going to hate them. I mean, people hate the Hulk because they see them as a monster because it's based off because when they get angry they go green, and the angrier they get, the stronger they get, right? And they've shown that with the Hulk in the Avengers Age of Ultron when Wanda does that mind thing on him and he just loses control and he just tears up Africa. Well, not Africa, but what was it? Wakanda. The Wakanda that's shown to the world, right? That's the Wakanda they show to the world. That's not the Wakanda where the Black Panther lives, right? That's the Wakanda they show to the world. So he tore up Wakanda, right? And he had the She-Hulk. They literally baited her because they needed her to get angry. So they was telling her, don't get angry, because once she gets angry, and Bruce told her that, once you get angry, that's all they're going to see you is a monster. And exactly what happens. They baited her with that video they took of her. Like, yeah, she had every right to get angry, but because of who she is now, she's the Hulk. Her getting angry, that's a monster. That's a monster. We can't have a monster running around. Alright? Can't have a monster. So yeah, when mutants come into the MCU, yes, there's going to be people that hate them because they're born mutants. They didn't get that because of money, like Iron Man. They're not a billionaire playboy philanthropist. They don't got money. They're born mutants. Okay, you think someone want to be born? You think Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler, you think he wanted to be born blue with a tail and cute little pointy ears and furry? No, he didn't. You think Scott wanted to be born with being able to shoot custom blasts out his eyes? No, no, no. You think Rogue wanted to be born to the point, want to have her mutant ability where she can't touch nobody without putting them in a coma? No. No, you think some mutants want to be born where they have a physical appearance, where their physical appearance change, and that's it? No, no. So yes, once the mutants come into to the MCU, yes, people are going to hate them because they're going to be like, oh crap, because they're born this way. Mutants are born mutants. It's an X gene that's in the human DNA. You can't change that. That's not money. That's not something you're taught. You're literally born a mutant. So yeah, there are gonna be some people that's gonna be like, oh my god, oh my god. There's gonna be some people that's gonna freak out. Okay. An universe can contain. Well, hello, Kaylee Demos. A universe can contain various timelines and mentioned within its bubble. Ms. Marvel represents mutants in the main universe. I don't think they'll make things more confusing to have mutants introduced via the multiverse. I think we'll see X-Men variants. Well, I think that's what they're gonna do with the Deadpool movie. Cause from what I've read, now again, this is on Twitter, so I don't know if any of this is actual facts, but it does make sense from what we've seen from clips. Is we see Logan. I'm not what? Oh my god! Because Wolverine's on my brain. So we see Deadpool essentially kind of going through different scenarios, scenes that we've seen before. So more than likely, we'll probably do see some X-Men variants, or they'll probably bring some members of the original cast, whether it's from the X-Men that I grew up on, which was with Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman. I've been watching Hugh Jackman play Wolverine for a long time. Like, god damn, that's a long career, bruh. But yeah. But so we'll probably see maybe some of them, because I heard that the lady that played Lady Deathstrike in X-Men 2, I heard her character, she's coming back. So we might see some X-Men variants. As for, because we already got to see Professor Charles Xavier from a different timeline within the Multiverse of Madness, so that's also a possibility. So seeing X-Men variants, yes. And what was the other comment you made? Also, the timelines in universe news contain various timelines of the bubble. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely good question. But Deadpool, I'm definitely excited to see Deadpool. I ain't gonna lie, I'm definitely excited to see Deadpool. Yeah, but timelines onto universes. I guess you do have a point right there with the timeline universe thing. But I think just like with a lot of people, like they're trying to say stuff is not canon. But the MCU has made these things canon. Was some of those movies great? As a kid, I'd enjoy them. I know that may be hard for some people here, because nowadays it seems like it could be a trend to like just hate on stuff, which I don't understand why. Like, if you enjoyed something, you enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed She-Hulk. Okay, I enjoyed She-Hulk. When I first saw Daredevil with Ben Affleck, I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. You know what I'm saying? It was a fun movie. X-Men, the original trilogy, I enjoyed it. I remember when the third one came out, The Last Stand, like the whole thing when they would introduce Beast, I remember like people in the audience was like, yeah, Beast. It was just excitement. I feel like with a lot of movies, because of the MCU and how it has shaped how movies are done, because each film, while they can stand alone by themselves, but they also have a connecting aspect to it that connects it to another movie. Like Iron Man, you could literally watch Iron Man by itself. Hi, Hazbin Hotel. Hi, loves. So while you can watch each Marvel MCU film by itself, they do connect to each other, but it's not in a way where it's like, oh, you gotta watch them in order to understand this. Like certain films you would have to watch in order to understand like what happening with eventually the whole like infinity aspect, the whole Infinity Stone stuff. Like you don't have to watch every single movie to understand it. But like certain films, yes, you have to understand it because you got to figure out where these stones came from, right? Like Guardians, you would have to watch it because when you got the Power Stone, um, Thor: Dark Worlds, when you get the Reality Stone, Time Stone will be Doctor Strange. The Tesseract is first introduced in. Is that the Tesseract? Wait, hold on. I'm about to confuse myself. Jesus. Tesseract and the Space Stone are the same thing, right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but like, just enjoy the movie. I feel like with Endgame and Infinity War, people are expecting every single Marvel movie to be that level. It's not going to be that level every time, and you shouldn't expect it to be that level every time because you have to build it. Like we had the arc from Iron Man to Endgame. That was the arc. That was the arc for those characters. For a lot of those characters, that was their arc. Their arc has ended. It was beautiful. I loved it. Okay, because I've literally been watching MCU since I was in my senior year of high school. That's how long the MCU has been going on. For some people, they've literally grown up with this. They've seen Iron Man as a child, or now they're probably in college, and now we're talking about the next phase of the MCU. So for a lot of people, for some people, this is literally they grew up with this. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was my high school, it was my college years, pretty much, because I'm in my 30s. From see my senior years to now, that's how long I've been watching the MCU. And that is crazy when you think about it. Like that's how much I've been watching we've been watching the MCU. Like it's crazy ridiculous. Like it is crazy. But I'm excited personally. Excited the stuff going forward with the MCU. I'm trying to figure out why it's not coming up on this thing so I can read it. Whatever. Okay, now I can see it. Thank you. Yes, the older movie's good. Like back then, I feel like back then when we watched a movie, we didn't watch the movie to enjoy it. We wasn't trying to sit there and connect it to a whole universe. You just enjoyed the movie, and I feel like a lot of people were missing out on that just enjoyment. Like everything got to be connected. Like why does everything got to be connected now? Like yes, it works for MCU because they do it carefully. They have some hit and misses. Because I remember when the first phase was out, and a lot of those early movies like Thor: Dark World and stuff, like a lot of people was hating on them. Like a lot of people want to have revisionist history and want to see the stuff through a rose-colored lens. Like I wasn't hating on Thor: Dark World. I remember when that movie came out. Oh, the amount of stuff I heard about people talk about that film. Oh my god, I remember. But yeah, just enjoy film. Like everything don't have to be in game level. Like just enjoy the stuff. Let's enjoy films. And ever since MCU started doing that, now everybody want to do a connected universe. Like DC, like a lot of their films I enjoyed. Like the Snyderverse stuff, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked that it was different than what I was used to when it came to like Superman, the Superman that I know. Because Superman, though, he's always peace, like love and justice and hope and stuff. Like, I get that for Superman because that's his character. That's essentially what he is, right? But what Snyder did with his character was going to do with his character in his vision. I didn't mind it. I liked it because for me it was something different. It wasn't something I was used to seeing with Superman. It was completely different. Even with his take on Batman, that was like I'm used to Batman being, Batman, but this version of Batman, like this was a Batman that had lost Jason Todd. Like he went through the whole Jason Todd thing because we see the suit in the background with ha 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 joke on it. Clearly, Joker then killed Jason Todd. So this was a Batman that was like, I'm gonna brand some people. I was like, ooh, okay, I like this Batman. I was like, yeah. It was different because it wasn't a Batman I was used to seeing. It wasn't a Batman I was used to seeing. It was different. It was different. And I like that difference. And I feel like a lot of people, it's like, for a lot of people, they kind of just want the same old thing. But I don't want the same old thing. If you're going to give me these superhero characters, give me something I haven't seen with them before. Like, you can still keep keep who they are, but give me something different. I don't want to see a thing. That's another reason why I love the Batman with Robert Pattinson, which I ain't gonna lie. When I heard it was gonna be Robert Pattinson, I was a little bit skeptical. Now I haven't seen a lot of his films because the only film I've seen Robert Pattinson in was the Twilight series. Okay, I'm not gonna say that lie to y'all. Okay, my high school years, I did have a Twilight phase. Okay, I was like book wise, I was Team Edward. Movie wise, I was Team Jacob, and that was just because of my teenage hormones. Okay, the boy was shirtless. Okay, but I'm a teenage girl. What you want me to do? Okay. Okay, I went through a Twilight phase in high school. I'm going to admit, okay, I'm pretty sure a majority of us went through a phase in high school. For me, it was Twilight. Okay. I had Twilight phase. Okay, for Robert Pattinson, that was the only movie that I've ever seen him in. But from I heard from other people that have seen his other films, he's a good actor, and that's another thing. We shouldn't judge actors on one aspect. We shouldn't judge actors because we only see them in one film. Like I see a lot of people say that with Kristen Stewart because that's the whole joke because she was in Twilight, so they always make fun of the acting that she did, like Edward, like all that stuff. We constantly see those type of jokes, right? But she's been in other films. But we're always judging these actors based on one particular movie that we've seen them in. Like, oh, they can't act. I've seen Kristen Stewart, and I've seen her in other projects. I've seen her in The Huntsman. I've seen her in this. I think it was a Lifetime movie called Speak. That one, I would say trigger warning because they are dealing with some SA stuff in that film. But she was good in that film. I loved her in that film. She was phenomenal. I loved her. She was amazing. But we shouldn't just judge actors on this thing. But for me, Rob Pattinson, because that was the only film I did see him in. I was, as you could say, we shouldn't judge it, but I was kind of judge him based off because that's the only movie I've seen him in. So that was my only, what's the word I'm looking for? Jesus. What is the word I'm looking for? Like, I hate when words, I'm trying to get a word out and it's not coming out, but I know what I'm trying to say. I hate that. Oh, that's true. I agree with that. I agree that you can't start with alternate Supermans and Batman. I agree. Can't start with alternate. I agree. But I think for a lot of people before, the Snyderverse, the Supermans we had was because what was the Superman film before Man of Steel? Wasn't it Superman Returns? I think I seen that one. I think it was Superman Returns before that one, and of course I think the other Superman film before that was the Christopher Reeves one, R.I.P. I've seen those films, and I don't think I've seen Superman Returns. I've heard of it. Never seen it. I seen Smallville. That was my show. Oh my God! Somebody save me! I love that show. His origin, because it was like his origin story. Like, how does he become Superman? Now I hated the ending of that show because I've been waiting since episode 1 to see him eventually don the suit. And they don't even give me the suit. They just give me the S and it goes off. I'm like, why would you do that to me? All the time. I hadn't invested in this show. And that's all you're going to give me is a little tease? I am hurt. Ugh. But with Batman, the films before that was the Dark Knight trilogy, which I've only seen the first 2 out of that film. I did not see the last one. I know they had Bane in the last one. And I've always heard people do the voice thing with the Bane. That one. But I agree. For some people, for the whole alt Superman, Batman, I mean, with DC, given how, DC, like, I be trying to be positive about the DCU. I really try to be positive, but a lot of the films, I felt like because they're trying to match what Marvel was doing, you could tell there was no planning with any of the films. Like, I feel like with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and what I feel like with those two, there seems to be some sort of plan. And then we have, of course, have the Wonder Woman film, which I was happy because how we didn't have Wonder Woman been. This is the first time she had her own film. This is the first film she's ever had. Before that, Wonder Woman, she was a TV series. And that was about it. That's the only two things I can think of that comes to mind with Wonder Woman. It's a TV series and that live action movie. I'm like, she's one of the big three, and this is the first time we're getting a movie about her. Come on now, like, come on. But anyway, her movie was good. I enjoyed Batman v Superman. I prefer to watch the extended edition because I feel like a lot of the scenes that they cut out for the theatrical, kind of ruins the film. I feel like movies, like if you cut out certain aspects of the film where your audience has to watch the extended version for you to understand it, maybe just keep the cut scenes in. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just keep those in. Just keep those in. Because if you take them out and I can't understand certain aspects of the movie, maybe don't take those out. Don't take those out, right? Batman v Superman, I enjoyed the extended version. Suicide Squad. Woo. 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 That film. That film is another one that I enjoyed the extended version of. I do not like the theatrical version. I enjoyed the extended version of that film. My issue with that in terms of Harley Quinn's character, going from that to the Birds of Prey, is her and Joker's relationship. That's the main thing with me with her, is how they handle her relationship. Because before the Suicide Squad, like, I don't know if people realize it, but I did, because that's just me. Because I buy a lot of clothing. I like buy a lot of T-shirts and things, and a lot of the merchandise I've saw with Harley Quinn before the DCEU became a thing, was a lot of her, like, Harley Quinn is marketed as the Joker's girlfriend. Like, unless you was watching the TV series as a child, or by Batman the animated series, or you're a person that actually read the comics and you actually get the full depth of her relationship with the Joker. If you're not a person that has read or watched that show, read the comics or watched the show, what you're seeing through marketing of Harley Quinn's character is literally she is the Joker's girlfriend. I literally have a lot of my Harley Quinn merchandise I have literally is literally saying I'm in love with my pudding, or I have this watch that literally says Mad Love on it. It's Joker and Harley like in this bracelet, and it says Mad Love, which is the title, I think, the title of the episode where they kind of go into the backstory of their relationship. It's literally marketed that way. Hi, Lil. I think it's Lil Sif. Lil Sif. I think that's how it's pronounced. Lil Sif. So, like, Harley Quinn is highly marketed as the Joker's girlfriend. Even when you look at I worked at Halloween, Spirit Halloween, that little Halloween store. Like, one of the couple costumes that we would market, for people, people that want to do custom costumes, was Harley Quinn and Joker. It was like, yeah, you could be this cute, crazy, psychotic couple in love for Halloween. That's literally how they're marketed. And so when you get to the movie, the Suicide Squad, and of course, yeah, not the Suicide, but no, the first Suicide Squad, right, with the one with Will Smith, not Idris Elba. The way it's portraying her and the Joker, because everything is shown essentially through her perspective, and it doesn't help that when they do show the Joker, he's going for, he's trying to get Harley out because she wasn't sent to Arkham like they always are. They're always sent to Arkham. Like, I don't know what's going on in the Gotham City justice system, but the fact that you constantly sending these criminals back to Arkham and they just break out again just to be thrown back in. Can we fix this? Can we fix your criminal system, please? Because this is ridiculous. The Joker, Harley, Poison Ivy, Clayface, Killer Croc, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Firefly. Who else he had? The Mad Hatter. Like, what is there a reason why they're always breaking out and causing havoc and killing people? Like, I could not live in Gotham. Like, we have that level of criminals. I'm moving out of Gotham City. I'm sorry. I don't see how people are living in Gotham. I don't see how y'all living in Gotham. Hey, Sway. Like, I don't see how y'all living in Gotham. Like, Like, honestly, could y'all live in Gotham? Like, if you saw that Batman's Rogue Gallery, are you living in Gotham City? Because I'm not. If there's even a slight chance that the Joker will kill me, I'm moving. I am moving out of Gotham City. I am moving. Okay, I'm moving out of Gotham City. I'm done. I'm not staying there. You got a crazy clown going around. You got a woman that is an eco terrorist. You got a man that's freezing people. You got a Clayface could turn into anybody he wants to. Personally, a lot of them need therapy. I feel like if someone had therapy, they wouldn't be committing life of crime. Because if you watch Batman the animated series, they kind of go into a back, like sort of like a background for a lot of these characters. Like Clayface, he was an actor who had like who got into an accident, so his face is messed up, right? So for actors, that's you kind of need to have the face, right? You gotta be the whole package as an actor because you're selling it. You're selling an image. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be cute. You gotta be fine. You gotta be all of this, right? Cause we see that with real life celebrities, they gotta look a certain way, for us to be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They gotta look a certain way, especially if they do films. They gotta give us the image. They gotta give us the image, right? So with Clayface, he had a incident. He got face, and then they were selling him this cream, which would make his face feel better. But he gets addicted to it, right? And he gets into a freak accident where now his whole body is like that, right? So you feel sorry for him. You're like, God damn, that's kind of messed up. And then Mr. Freeze, he's just trying to cure. He's just trying to find a cure for his wife. That's all he's trying to do. He just trying to find a cure for his wife. And you feel bad for him now. You're like, damn, that's kind of heartbreaking. He just trying to find a cure for his wife. He just trying to cure her sickness. Like, why is nobody helping this man? Just give us some grant money so he can find a cure for his wife. Why he has to turn to a life of crime to get some money to find a cure for his wife? This is all this man is trying to do is save his wife. Bruce got his money, get this man. Bruce got money. Bruce got enough money. He could get this man some money, bro. He could get the man his own lab. Like, yo, Mr. Freeze, here, I got you. Look, this is your lab. Take as much time you need to find this cure for your wife. Poison Ivy. Even we can help a little bit. Like, people, just recycle a little bit more. Just do more for the environment, But her thing, she want to kill humans completely, which, like, ma'am, that's not going to work. You can't kill every human being on the planet. That's not going to work. We could come to a compromise, okay? We're gonna try to recycle a little bit more. We're gonna lessen the carbon emissions. You know what I'm saying? You gotta work with this, Ivy. You can't just kill every human being on the planet. That's not gonna work, Ivy. Ma'am, no. Ma'am, no. Mm-mm. And I think with the Mad Hatter, his thing was, if I remember correctly, didn't he have a thing for like his sister or something? It was weird. I don't think there's no saving that. I don't know. That's gonna need some intense therapy. He was on some Lannister-ish. That's gonna need some therapy. That's gonna need some therapy. Like, oh my god. Mm-mm. But Snyderverse, I like the films, and for some people, maybe starting with that version of Batman and that version of Superman, probably it's not good. It won't feel good on a lot of people's palettes. It won't feel good on a lot of people's palettes. But for me, I enjoyed it because it wasn't what I was used to seeing when it came to Superman and Batman. I enjoyed it. Going forward with the rest of the films, there clearly was not a cohesive story. I enjoyed, like, for me, if I had to choose my favorite films out of the DCEU, it would be Man of Steel, going into Batman v Superman, then going into Wonder Woman. Then we get the first Aquaman film. That's the first one. Because I love me some Jason Momoa. That man, that man right there. But Jason Momoa, and then Snyder's version of the Justice League. Because the one we got with Joss Whedon, we could have waited. We could have waited to get. For me, we could have waited to get the Snyderverse, because I feel like if somebody lost a family member, because that's why he had to step away, because he lost a family member. So you could have paused production. I would rather you pause production than gave us that film. Like, It was okay. It just felt too, like, given the tone that we was having so far with Snyder's version of the film, that just felt out of tone with what he had going on. Like it just didn't fit. Right? It just didn't fit. It didn't fit whatsoever. And then, of course, then you have the other films, which Shazam was good. I enjoyed Shazam. I enjoyed the first and the second one. It was pretty good. I liked it. The the Justice League films. I would say I enjoyed the not Justice League, the Suicide Squad films. I would say I enjoyed the Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, the one with Peacemaker and Idris Elba. I enjoyed that one better than I did the first one with Will Smith, because of the whole thing with how they did the villain things. Like the actors, I had no problem with the actors. Like a lot of these films, the actors are fine. It's just the scripts that they're giving them to work with is what the issue is for a lot of the DC films with me. Like the actors they had, they were fine. The actors fine. Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Margaret Robbie, Will Smith, Viola Davis. Viola Davis. Oh, perfect as Amanda Waller. Oh, baby girl, perfect. Black Adam, I enjoyed it, but I felt like, given the fact of who I know of who Black Adam is, I felt like he should have been introduced in a Shazam film because he's connected to Shazam. Like I like they gave us his origin story and stuff, like, like the whole background with his character and stuff. And I think The Rock playing Black Adam was a perfect fit to me. I'm not sure how everybody else feels about it, but Black Adam for me, he was a good actor for it, and I liked it. Had like his comedic moments and stuff, but I felt like his character should have been introduced in a Shazam film and not sort of a standalone by itself, because it makes it seem like he's a hero. Yeah, if you get what I'm saying, it was giving a hero film when his character is technically a villain against Shazam. That's where it threw me off. I was like, okay. Like the visual effects was good, and they had this whole thing with everybody. Like then you're introducing other characters too that we're probably never even gonna see again. That's another thing. Like I like Dr. Fate. Like that was kind of cool seeing Dr. Fate on live screen. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But like with the other characters, like you're introducing Dr. Fate, you're introducing Hawkman and everybody else. It's like, oh, okay. Are we gonna see them again, or this is just a one-off thing? Like Black Adam should have been introduced as a Shazam character in Shazam. Like that should have been like he should have been introduced or mentioned somewhere in Shazam 1. Build him up somewhat in Shazam 2. Like Shazam technically could have been a trilogy. Honestly, like introduce him some aspect in 1, deal with it some aspect in 2, but then have like their final fight in like the third film. To me, that Shazam should have been a trilogy. Because I didn't mind the Fury of the Gods thing. Like that could have actually, if you wanted to, could have been a fourth film. Like introduce Black Adam, then have him deal with Black Adam and all that stuff. Then go into this whole thing with these women getting mad because Shazam took the power of the gods. You know what I'm saying? That could have been like a fourth film thing. That could have been like a fourth film thing, honestly. I'm neutral, yeah, but I just felt like he should have been introduced into Shazam. It just because I knew who he was, who he was with. Because then they give you that tease at the end with him and Superman that's never gonna pay off. It's like, no, there's not even no point of even doing that. There was no point in even doing that whatsoever. There's no point in doing that. And then you had so since we now having James Gunn, essentially about to essentially redo this whole essentially reboot stuff from the ground up. With the Flashpoint, what I think they should have did, because the Flashpoint to me is the end of this DC universe, right? This is the end of this universe. So with Flashpoint, because of the fact that it's called the Flashpoint, it's the whole thing is Barry's going back in time to try to prevent his mom's dying, but him doing that causes things to change. You know, it's a whole butterfly effect that's causing as things to change in the future. So what they should have did with the Flashpoint is use the Flashpoint, kind of like actually what they did in the animated version of the Flashpoint, which I've seen. That was amazing. Like the DC animated films, their animated films, they knock it out the park with those. Like that's good. Like I don't understand why they could not why they do so good with the animated films, but when you get to live action, they fumble so hard. Like your animated ones are amazing, but you stumble on the live action. Like you have good actors. Like your actors are good. You gotta give them a good script because actors could only do so much. Your actors could only do so much. Okay, they can only do so much. They do what they're working with. Okay, they can only do so much. We can't ask them. There's only so much they can do with a script. Okay. So with Flashpoint, what they should have did with Flashpoint is when he goes back to try to fix everything, they should have just left that sort of like when he goes back to try to change everything, should have just left that like, did he change anything or did he not change it? Just left that open ended. Don't show him saving his dad from prison or not. They should have just, as soon as he goes back to Flash, it should have been in screen. So you'd be like, well, did he change it or not? Or what's called? So that way it can be opened up to, this is the events of, this is what happened after Flash try to go back to try to change everything. It goes into James Gunn's version of the DCU. Like let that be like what causes this version of the DCU that we're about to see now with James Gunn. Flashpoint is Snyder's version of this stuff going into James U. That's what they should have did to me. Personally, I am losing my voice. Why? That's, I think, how they should have been done. That's how I would have did it with a Flashpoint going into James Gunn. That's how I would have did that. So I've talked about Fallout, got into X-Men, which went into Marvel and DC, and now we're about to talk about Hazbin Hotel. So if you have not seen Hazbin Hotel, the pilot of the shows actually started on YouTube about 4 years ago. And we finally got season 1, which is only available on Amazon Prime. And it's pretty much about this young girl named Charlie, who is the princess of hell. And she wants to redeem sinners so he could get into heaven. But obviously that's not going to happen because hell is forever. And if you do not like musicals, then the show will not be for you, because Hazbin Hotel is a musical. There's musical numbers within every single episode. I have watched all of season 1. I need to upload me reacting to episode 1, which I will be doing sometime this month. But the rest of season 2 through the rest of the episodes, I have my reactions up on the channel, so you can watch those. But what I love about the show is you get this sort of question of, it brings up this question of what does a soul need to do to essentially get into heaven? It brings up this very interesting question, which I love about the show. It also deals with a lot of other topics with the character like Angel Dust and his treatment by Valentino. Ooh. But I like it that brings up this question, because when she goes to this meeting with Adam, who is Adam as the first man, Adam as Adam from the book of Genesis, he tells her, like, essentially that hell is forever. There's no way for you sinners to get into heaven. Like, you made, when you, like, on earth, the decisions you made, that determines that, hey, you're either going to heaven or you're going to hell. That's it. There's no way to change that. So we go throughout the show, right, and we find out from dialogue, when we eventually do get to see heaven, that Adam is the one who tells the seraphim, hey, let's do an extermination on hell, which I thought was interesting, because from how the show presents itself is the angels are exterminating because they're trying to prevent hell, the souls of hell, from rising up and overpowering heaven itself, and we can't have that. So we have to keep these sinful souls in their place. And find out it was Adam's idea. So I'm like, why is it Adam's idea? Then now think about it, because now we eventually get to see Lucifer, which he is too cute. Oh. I'm starting to think, this is a theory, I'm not sure if it's true, but with Adam, I'm starting to think that he wanted this extermination because he's mad at Lilith. He's mad at Lucifer for essentially going after both his wives. Because first it was Lilith, right? If you know the story of Lilith and Eve, they were both made at the same time. They were equal. Adam didn't like the fact that Lilith was trying to be more dominant over him, so she was like, well, screw you, Adam. I'm out. Dip. She gets with Lucifer. She becomes essentially the queen of demons, the mother of demons, right? And then God, puts Adam to sleep, creates Eve from his rib. So now she's more essentially subservient to Adam. She's not going to try to overrule him. She's a helpmeet. She's more subservient to him. The husband will rule over the man, and blah, 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 blah. That whole stick. So that's my theory on why Adam wants his extermination, because Lucifer literally went after both his wives. And he even actually makes this joke actually within the show himself when they're having this battle. Lucifer's fighting Adam. He's actually taught him like, hey, I kind of had both your wives, like Lilith and Eve, like kind of had them both. Like he's literally talking to him about it. And Adam hates hell so damn much. But the thing is, what's also funny is the fact that his behavior, Adam's behavior, is pretty sinful himself. Like when you first meet him, he's essentially talking like a Chad, right? An incel type that we're constantly seeing on like TV, that we constantly seeing like on TikTok and stuff like that. So that's kind of what he modeled his personality as, like this aspect of toxic masculinity. Right, so that's what we see his behavior. So, but his behavior is presenting as this aspect, right? You're like, that's not behavior that you would assume with an angel. Like you're sleeping around with women, you're right. You're saying you're calling them bitches or hoes. You're doing a lot of this things that we would consider sinful. Like you're essentially distributing all seven of the deadly sins, right? But you're in heaven. So then there's also the scene where Charlie goes to essentially heaven court to try to prove that sinners can be redeemed, right? And they ask the seraphim, well, what are the qualities to get into heaven? And so they go to Adam and ask him, well, what are the qualities to get into heaven? Since he's the first human, he would automatically get into heaven. Even he doesn't know what qualified him to get into heaven. So there's also this thing, like even the angels themselves don't know what gets you into heaven. Like how would you not know this? And the fact that when Charlie does question them about it, and they kind of get very defensive, and they were like, well, we know when a soul comes into heaven and blah 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 blah, but you don't know what qualifies that soul to get into heaven. So if you don't know what qualifies that soul to get into heaven, how can you say a sinner cannot be redeemed? Because you yourself don't know what qualifies a soul to get to heaven. And if you don't know what qualifies a soul to get into heaven, how can you qualify what soul goes to hell? I mean, obviously some things should automatically be a red flag to getting into hell, like, unaliving somebody or graping, that type of stuff. That should be an automatic straight to hell. But other than that, what other qualifications would there be for heaven and hell to get into either of those things? And the fact that the angels cannot answer that qualifications makes me feel like, what's really going on here? Who's really running things? Like, how is this really working? Like, it runs into these questions of like, okay, what's really going on in heaven and hell? How are these things running? How are these things running, right? Like, is there an agenda here? Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? Like, what's the agenda? And then Then we have characters such as within hell. We see in hell there's this hierarchy, right? So you have overlords, and your overlords, the ones that we actually meet, are Alistair, who is my favorite character. I love him. He is the radio demon. I love him so much. He is so amazing. And when he talks, it's like he's talking through a radio. He prefers radio. He really doesn't love any modern day technology. And you try to wonder why, and that's until you realize why he doesn't like really modern day technology when you meet his essentially his rival, which is this other overlord known as Vox. Vox is essentially the TV demon. Why can I speak? The TV demon, right? He works with two other demons, and they're called the V's. So it's Vox, Valentino, and oh my god, my mind went blank. Oh my god, but I love the song so much. But my mind went blank on her name. Why did it go blank? I know her name started with V. Because they're called V's. So each of them, so those three, they work together. Vivette, I think that's her name, Velvet. Oh god, there we go. So Vivette, she is more, you could tell she's probably a bit younger when she passed on, because she's very into like the social media and stuff. So her aspect is very like social media. Even when her song, she's like, I'm the hashtag bitch, you know. So she's very more younger in terms of compared to like a lot of the other demons. You know what I'm saying? She's more younger. She's more social media savvy. You have Valentino. He's more on the his aspect of the bees. He runs a an adult film industry in hell. That's his thing. Adult films. And he has angel dust in his contract. He has angel dust, right? So those are the bees. Valentino is really hated because of how he treats Angel. Like, if you watch the song, the video Addicted and Poison, you get an aspect of the abuse and trauma that Angel Dust goes through dealing with Valentino. And so how the overlords get power is they are sold souls from other souls in hell. So the more souls you get, the more powerful you are. So these are your overlords. You got the V's, you got Alistair, you got Carmilla, there's Zestio, who seems to be he's like, I would say he's probably like the oldest overlord that she, because the way he talks is very like ain't like old times. Like, you know, he's probably one of the oldest ones there. So you have these overlords, right? They have their own souls. That's how they get the power. So they each own aspect of hell. But with Alistair's character, right, you get a glimpse also of him, because when you see him, he's always smiling. Let me see if I can pull a picture of him up, actually. Alistair is always smiling. You never see him without a smile. It's kind of almost creepy, actually. So this is Alistair, the radio demon. If we get a nice non-fuzzy picture, that'd be lovely. Yeah, so this is what Alistair looks like. I don't know if you can see it like that. Yeah, that's Alistair. That's the radio demon, right? He's my favorite character. So in one of the episodes, it's the final episode. You get he mentions in the song that he's under constraints of his own contract. So now you're like, well, he's an overlord demon. So who has him under a contract? So it has to be somebody more powerful than him. So I'm like, who could it be, right? Like, who could it be that's more powerful than him? Like, because the only other being that would be more powerful than him would be Lucifer himself, which is the king of hell, which we know is not him because he hates Alistair with a passion, right? So it's like, who else? So it's like, who could it possibly be? I mean, I have my theory that is either Lilith. I have a feeling it may be Lilith, or it may be Eve, because we have not seen Eve. Like, we don't see Lilith until the end of season 1, but we've never seen Eve. We've seen Adam throughout this entire season, but we never see Eve, and we don't even really hear Adam even mentioning Eve. So is Eve in heaven, or like where is she? Like there's no mention of her at all. Like they're the first man and woman. We see Adam. Where the heck is Eve? Lilith was chilling somewhere on a beach somewhere. She was living her best life. Meanwhile, her child is in heaven, is in hell, trying to redeem sinners, and her husband Lucifer is is dealing with depression. Who thought the devil himself would be dealing with depression? So yeah, that's Hazbin Hotel. I am excited for season 2. I know there's another show by Viz Pop. It's called Hell of a Boss, which I will be starting on this channel because it's within the same universe, but clearly different characters. So I definitely will be starting that. I can't wait to watch that. That's definitely going to be good. And then, of course, we have Interview with a Vampire, which I recently just finished season 1. You can watch all my reactions on the channel. Season 2 is actually premiering next month, which I am excited about. And that show right there, oh my God. I was judgmental. I will not lie. I was a little skeptical when the show, because usually when it comes to adapting things, some of them are good, some of them are not. Okay. Especially when you're talking about Anne Rice, like Anne Rice's stuff. The only things that have been adapted so far in terms of her works, as far as I know, has been Interview with a Vampire, which is the 90s film, which starred Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, which just as a child made my obsession over vampires go over 100%, because I was already watching Buffy, right? And then you had Angel. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, Buffy and Angel's romance for me as a child was like, oh my God, yes, I want that. I want that love. And then you give me Interview with a Vampire. I'm like, why they're so pretty? Like, have you seen Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in Interview with a Vampire? They were gorgeous. I was like, oh, if I saw something like that, I might let you bite me. Then they also had Antonio Banderas. Oh my God, Antonio Banderas. Those three. Oh my. Oh. 3 pretty people. Why would you put them all in a movie like this? Ooh, why would you do that to me? So my love of vampires as a kid, it just went over the top. Like, a lot of the stuff that I like or I'm into, I literally blame what I watched in my childhood for, which will be I'm gonna save for probably another topic stream that I probably can't really do on YouTube. That might be straight for TikTok only, because we're going to be going into some discussions on that. My childhood is the reason for a lot of my quirks. Anyway, Interview with a Vampire. I've read the book. I've seen the movie. And so when they came out with the TV series, I'm like, okay, let me watch it. I liked it. They aged up Claudia a little bit, which worked with this series, because in the film Claudia is played by little Kristen Dunst, and Kristen Dunst, she does a phenomenal job as that character, because y'all remember with her character Claudia, she as vampire, you don't age as a vampire, right? You don't age. So with your body not physically aging, but your mind is, that's going to cause some issues if you're stuck in the body of a child and you have an adult female mind, but you got a child body. That's going to cause some issues. So we also see that again in Claudia, but she's a little bit older, so they could do a little bit more that you really can't do with a child actor. You know what I'm saying? You can't really do certain things with a child actor. Not unless you want to go to jail. But I love this version, and I love how it's, because I guess it's also because of the time frame, and they could do a little bit more now. Like if you read the Interview with the Vampire books, it's queer coded as hell. Like, it was obvious, and even in the 90s movie version, it was clear there's a romance going on between Louis and Lestat. Like, even as a child, I understood it. Like, I probably couldn't explain it to you, but I could tell you, I probably couldn't, articulate it. But as a child, even I knew it was looking at like, Lestat and Louis is kind of like, like you probably couldn't articulate it as a child, but then you knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? But with now they kind of expand on it. But Lestat, as cute as he is, he's toxic. It's a toxic relationship. Okay, like he gaslights Louis, he manipulates Louis, and then also because of the fact that in this version of Interview with the Vampire, Louis is being portrayed by a black man. You know, it's the South in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's a segregated South. Like, so yes, if you know anything about the black history in Louisiana, yes, we did have a middle class, but I mean, racism still exists. I mean, racism ain't gonna go nowhere because some of us got some money, you know. But Louis is still dealing with racism. This is shown with the with his profession that he has, right? He has his whorehouses, right? But it's, you know, and the things he has to do when he plays poker with the other Caucasian men who they are in the same business stuff as he is. Like they money dirty too, but they're not gonna be scrutinized the way that Louis is, right? And then also there's also the thing with Lestat, because Louis is, not only is Louis a black man in this time frame, but he's also a gay black male in this time frame. And so when him and Lestat does go out, he has to be essentially his servant in this situation, which, I mean, they couldn't be partners anyway, because they also made that apparent within dialogue with people making commentary about, you know, their lifestyle, and, you know, that, you know, you could go to jail for this, which more than likely they probably did send people to jail for that. Like, why is your business what they doing in the privacy of their own home is beyond me. Like, it's not like, how is it affecting you if they're in their house doing what they do? Like, why are you so worried about what people do in the privacy of the house? Like, why is that such a thing for you? But with Louis and Lestat, their relationship is just Lestat has to get his way every freaking time. Like, Louis, he doesn't feel the need to hunt human beings. He's like, if we can literally live off the blood of animals, like, why do we need to have humans? And when Lestat does it, it's very, I'm trying to find a way to say this. It's very I don't want to say Ramsey Bolton, but it's like kind of unnecessary when he does stuff. Like, they went to a play, right? And Lestat wasn't happy with the male vocalist, right? The male lead. But it was like a play that he really, really loved. Like, he wasn't happy. So he literally brings the dude back to his home, you know, playing the piano, trying to get him to sing on key. He doesn't sing on key. I'm like, bro, why? Why was that necessary? Hi. Yeah, so why was like why was that necessary? That was so necessary. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people I don't like when I hear them sing. I'm like, really? I'm like, who gave you a contract? Like some of these rappers, I don't like them. Like, if I was a vampire, I'm not gonna invite Ice Spice or Sexy Red to my place and lay down a beat. I'm like, okay, freestyle. And I don't like the freestyle. And I go, I'm not gonna do that. Like, that was unnecessary. Let's start. Like, what, bro? And then it's just like, also Lestat's not understanding of Louis as a black man in his time frame. Also, that also cause issues within a relationship. Like, throughout the show, the relationship is just not healthy. It's not healthy at all. I know, season 5. I can't wait. 5/12. Oh crap! That's in how many days? Oh my goodness! That's literally this weekend. Wait, isn't that Mother's Day? Isn't the 12th Mother's Day? The 12th is Mother's Day, isn't it not? That's Sunday, Mother's Day. Uh, that's gonna be fun. I'm doing something for Mother's Day. Oh my god. Yes, Sunday is Mother's Day. That's gonna be fun. For Mother's Day. Interview with a vampire. But yeah, but Louis Lestat is like it's this disconnect. Like I want a root for them because they make a pretty couple. I will not lie, they make a pretty couple. Like Lestat and Louis, like they some pretty people. Like the actors they got to play them, they some pretty people. Like ooh, like they some pretty people. Like Lestat, like I know he toxic, but there's just something about the actor that plays him. It's the way he portrays him. It just makes him be like. It just makes you. It just makes you feel like, yeah. I see it. I see why. You know what I'm saying? Like as in a comment on one of my videos, like yeah. I let him top me. I ain't gonna lie. I let him top me. I let him do it. Like, I let him bite me. Like, go ahead, bite me. Go ahead, bite me. Go ahead, bite me. Yes, they do look real delectable. Like, how they be finding these people? How they be finding these actors? I need to know. Like, they so yummy. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, like I already have a thing about vampires, and this is just making it worse. Like, Jesus, this makes it worse. And then with the relationship being toxic, and then they get Claudia, like he's like Louis goes and gets Claudia, right? But it just puts a band-aid on the relationship. Like it's not fixing the root of the problem. And that's happens with a lot of relationships too. Is like you got people that be in abusive relationships. They don't see the abuse. They don't see the abuse. They always find an excuse for why this person did what they did to them, or they get into a situation where they think, oh, a child is going to make this better. It's the child is going to make this all better, and that's what Claudia was. They was happy for a while with Claudia, but it was not getting under the root cause, or the root cause of why this wasn't working between you and Lestat, Louis. It was not going to fix it, and it doesn't help that their teaching methods, it was just like Lestat is teaching her how he is, right? And you have Louis kind of teaching her how he is. Like it's a disconnect, and not only that, it's also not dealing with the issue that she has been changed. She's what 13, 12 when she's changed into a vampire. Like she's literally on like the onset of puberty, but she's not gonna mature any further than where she is. So she like nothing's gonna develop. This is gonna develop, but nothing below here is gonna develop. So she's gonna be stuck in this body for the rest of her life because you made her a vampire, right? And so that discussion also was not had with her like she's gonna eventually start develop emotion. Like when we see her get her first crush, it was so beautiful. I was like she was so happy. She was like, look up, and she's writing her diary and stuff. Oh, what the heck is going on? Am I flashing? 14, that's how it was. 14, okay. Yeah, stuck in a time where it's like, can you imagine being stuck as a teenager? Like, I remember how I was as a teenager. I would not want to be stuck like that as a teenager. No, I would not want to be stuck like that as a teenager. Yes, Charlie was her little boyfriend. Like, she was so excited. I was so happy for her, too. Like, she was so excited. She was writing in her diary. All in her coffin, writing in her diary. She's like, look up. He was giving her flowers and stuff. And she went out for ice cream and stuff. I was like, oh. But when they got into the car scene, I was like, oh, Lord. And she was like, saw it and the blood was pumping. She could see the heartbeat. I was like, oh, no. I was like, I knew where this was going. I was like, no, Claudia, no. And she's drinking and stuff. Oh, I'm like, please, Claudia, stop. You had enough. Stop, girl. And she drinks him dry, and you see the look on her face. And she's like, Charlie? I'm like, no, Claudia. Like, can you imagine? That's like your first crush. Like, can you imagine and then she brings him back, and the way Lestat just treats it like, he's dead. It's just it's the way when somebody comes to him with something, especially Claude, like, this is your daughter, right? Like, you two are parents, right? This is your daughter. She's coming to you. She's dealing with her first heartbreak. She had killed the boy. You're just like, he's dead. You drained him dry. And then you're taunting her. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing that? Like, where's the sensitivity, sir? And then he goes and burns the body. He's like, you look at it. He's holding the face like, look at it. I'm like, why are you doing that, sir? Yes, and read her diary. Like, sir, why? Like, Lestat, like, your pretty face, sir, is like, you have the beauty, but your personality and your behavior is so toxic, sir. Why? Like, that was unnecessary. Like, then she goes out into the world, and then she runs into that other vampire, and then he even taunts her about that too. Like, sir, something traumatic happened to her, and you're gonna taunt her about, especially when he was on the plane, not the plane, the train, and he was even mentioning that too, and you just see her crying. I'm like, sir, why are you doing this? Like, what? Like, why are you doing this? Like, the way he was just acting towards Claudia was so unnecessary, not needed. There was no reason to behave that way to that girl like that. And then oh my god, and how he is with Louis, oh my god. And when they both eventually kick him out of the house, especially after he then beat the crap out of, like, that sequence when he beats the crap out of Louis, like, they're literally fighting, like, they're tearing the house up, like, they're smashing and stuff. Like, he had him, like he was dragging him out. He had his claws in his throat, just dragging him outside, and he flew him up in the sky. He was like, tell me you don't love me. Tell me. Like, sir, you beat the shit out of me. And then after all this stuff, now he want to get him back. Like, I got you a car. I got you this book. That's what abusers do. They beat the crap out of you. They'll be like, look, I'm sorry. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna never do it again. I ain't gonna never beat you again. I ain't gonna never do it again. I'm not gonna do it again. Like, he's like, Lestat is abuser 101. Yes, yes. Yeah, jealous. Like, why? Like, sir, like, why? Yeah, he's just that, like, and he just let him fall to the ground, and then he come back and talk about, and then, the mess up thing. He makes a song for Louis, right? But he got his woman on the track singing. Sir, how you gonna write me a love song when you have the girl that you sleeping with, her voice on the track? Like, how did you think that was romantic in any form or fashion? You sleeping with this woman, you gonna have her singing on the song that's supposed to be for me? Sir, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. Thank you, asking for love, but he cheating the whole time. And then when I thought he was, then the thing is, I actually had hope. I fell for it. I ain't gonna lie, I fell for it. When he brought back the finger and the newspaper, I actually believed it. I'm like, oh my god, is he actually gonna change? Then it would reveal he didn't change. I was like, even I fell for it. I was like, oh my god. Like, Lestat does not change. He just gaslights you and manipulates you. He makes you think that he's going to change, but he doesn't. He just tries to find a better ways to be sneaky. That's it. Yep, wants to cheat off as a cheater. Like, yeah. And not only that, but he sees no issue with himself having another lover on the side, but had the audacity audacity to get mad at Louis when he was out in the what it was, the swamp with that boy from his past. The dude, he was in the military, he came back, and but they kind of always had like a thing for each other, but they couldn't, they couldn't act upon it because the time frame. And he said, I think what he implied, he was watching them or something. I'm like, sir, how you gonna get mad at Louis for getting him some when you got yours? Yes, the soldier. Yes, and he was fine too. Like, they had some, like, I don't know what he find these actors. They were some pretty people. Like, oh my god. Like, how can I find somebody like that in my life? But anyway, but yeah, you can't get mad at Louis for doing what you doing. Like, Louis got him some, let him get some. You getting you some. You getting you some. You getting you some. Let Louis get him some. So what, Louis supposed to just be up in the house all day, essentially like the housewife? Because that's essentially what you think about it. Louis kind of was. He was kind of like the housewife. Like, he still had like his businesses and stuff, but essentially he was a housewife. And Louis, the staff would be like, "Oh, I'm off to such and such. I'm off to such and such. I'll be back." So Louis supposed to be inside all day, making sure the house is kept up, because essentially that's pretty much what Louis kind of was. Like, he's still running his businesses, but he was still maintaining the home. Louis was a housewife. Thank you. Yes, he wants to live like Mary, but single too. Like, sir, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways, Lestat. No. You can't have it both ways, sir. No. You can't go have the eggplant at home and go get you the kitty what is outside. You can't have both, sir. You can't have both unless there's a mutual agreement between both parties. Last time I checked, you didn't talk to Louis about this, so it's not a mutual agreement. So no, you can't have both, sir. You can't have both. And I also feel bad for Louis, but I don't understand why Louis didn't think about this. Like, sir, you're a vampire. Is this thing with his sister, right? Like, it's clear that Louis loves his family. He really loved his brother, and when he lost his brother, that definitely took a toll on him. I felt bad for him, and I felt bad for the brother. And even I'm kind of confused on if Lestat did it or not, because Lestat said he didn't have his brother kill himself. Right? He didn't have his brother unalive himself. But a part of me feels like, is he telling the truth? Because given Lestat's history with Louis, like, a part of me doesn't believe him. Like, a part of me does not believe him. Oh, he lost a role to him. Okay. I did not know that. Okay. Yes, that's true. The vampires and the bad marriage and the cheating is the biggest problem. Yes, that's sad. You're a vampire. You think, being immortal and drinking people's blood, that would be the issue. No, is you're cheating in your marriage. Yes, that's a problem. It is what it is. Okay. Because I feel like in the show, I was confused. Because, what Lestat, given this situation, I just didn't trust him. But if that's what the author of the book says, that's good with me. If that's what the author states, I'll go with the author. I'll trust the author because she wrote the book. I'm not gonna go against her. But then also with Louis, with him, like, he should have known his sister was gonna behave in this behavior. Like, sir, when you missing a lot of events, right? When they do see you, it's only at nighttime. All right, it's only at nighttime. All right. And then when you get confrontational with your mama, because your mama knows something up, right? I don't like the mom's behavior on how she treats, she treated Louis. Like, I didn't like the mom behavior, like she blamed Louis and stuff for, like, Paul's death. Like, that was kind of like messed up. Like, ma'am, this is your son too. Like, there was no reason for her to treat Louis like that. Like, I really hated the mama on that. I understand everybody grieving, right? But how she behaved toward Louis, that made no sense. That made no sense whatsoever. There was no reason to treat that boy like that. But yeah, she could understand there's something different. Then also because of their eyes too, like Lestat, Louis, and Claudia's eyes, like if you look at the eyes, cause I'm pretty sure I don't know when contact lenses was invented, but I don't think it was invented during that time frame, especially color ones. Cause like Louis is with like a bright green or something, and Claudia's like bright red. Like, sir, and then when you do see your family, like you're wearing shades, you're not gonna think they're gonna be like something's up. Not only that, but you're not aging neither. You're a vampire. You're immortal. You're not aging. All right. So these years go by. Your mama getting gray hair. Your sister then popped out 2 babies. And she getting older, but you still looking like he had to know something was up, and especially after you done broke that door down, trying to get into your sister's house. You took the door off the hinges, sir. You really think your family gonna want you around? You think your sister is gonna want you around her children? And not only that, but you knew there's gonna be an issue when I remember when he was holding the baby. Remember the scene when he was holding the baby, and I was worried he was gonna actually bite the baby. I was worried that was probably his sister's first clue. Like you left abruptly after holding my baby. You just left my baby on the floor and you dipped. Like somebody gonna know. Your family gonna know something up, bruh. Your family gonna know something up, bruh. And so for the sister, she just had to bury her brother. She had to bury him, so she, got the tombstone and everything. She had to bury him. Yeah, it's true. He wasn't all of us nobody. Oh, yes, true. She did chase the son into the jaws of monster. Yep. I was worried with that newborn. Yeah, I was worried with that newborn. Yeah, the way Mama Dulac she treated his son, it has made it worse. Because it's already the fact that he's already gay in this time period. You can't. It's impossible for him to even talk to anybody about that. That's gonna be a disownment right there. You what? You what? You what? Out house. Out. So he can't talk to nobody about that, except for the girl that he was already talking to. The lady of the night he was already talking to, because that was their deal. He pays her. He just sat there and talked to her. He ain't do nothing with her. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you make it worse. Like if you make it easier for a person to be under the claws of an abuser like Lestat, right? You made it easier for him because you made it easier for him to get his claws on Lestat, and with Lestat not really handling situation, and that's also shows because of the fact that he is a black man in this time frame. So for him to be honest about certain things, he can't be honest because there's a lot of stuff that was told him by his Caucasian counterparts and stuff that's being done to him that he really can't speak on it. He really can't really buck against the system because it's the time period. He's gay. He's a black man. He can't really do much in the time period. So his hair is going to be buried in the sand for a lot of things. And also, and I think, and with Stat, also Rebel's in there too because he's not going to buck too much. And so when Louis does lose his cool with that racist person, and he just he literally poses up on that gate. I was like, sometimes I mean, if you oppress, it's only so much you're gonna deal with. You know what I'm saying? And for Louis, that's what happened. But then he goes and blames himself for the reactions that the white people have against the colored section of there. But that was gonna happen anyway. Like they just probably use it as an excuse to go like, hey, this happened to us, so we're gonna do this to you. Like there was no reason to burn all those places like that. Meanwhile, y'all establishments are still fine. Y'all establishments are still fine. Your whorehouses are still fine and all that stuff. Now these people got no houses, no homes, no business. And then there's the whole thing with the war. The whole thing that was going on with that whole, when it was World War One, they was dealing with, and before World War II, it was like World War One. So you have all these things coming out, but with overall, Lestat Louis, the relationship is just toxic. And with Louis, I noticed somebody left a comment on one of my videos about how Louis, he really hasn't healed from his relationship with Lestat, and he's just kind of sort of in a new sort of new abusive relationship with the character that we see at the end, Armand. which took me a minute to remember who Amon was, because I was trying to remember the movie, right, and the book. I was trying to remember, like, while watching it. Then it, like, dawned on me after a few seconds, like, who Amon character was in the 1990s film that was Antonio Banderas' character. I was like, oh, that character, right? But it also threw me off too, cause just like the interviewer, right? He was watching him, like he remember seeing him in the '90s. Like, wait a minute, I saw this guy. Wait, what? And then he's watching him the whole time, like, because he's being very human every time we see him, right? He's very defensive of Louis, like he's like, like, he's very defensive of Louis. He's Louis drinking from him, so he's giving off very human like behaviors, right? That he was even standing in the sunlight. So I'm like, there's no way in the world he could be human. He's the vampire. He's in the sun. But then it gets to reveal that he is a vampire. He's wearing contact lenses. And he starts freaking floating. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. Lestat love, mama. Yep. Yep. Is a cycle that Louis is gonna have to break. Yes, like, cause I'm watching it, right? Cause the way they're showing it, right? They have him, they're focusing on the interviewer and Louis, right? But they have your boy in the background. He's blurred up, but you see him like with you see him go up to his eye. I'm like, it's. So I'm watching. I'm like watching the scene. I'm thinking to myself, is he taking out contact lenses? Then he starts floating. I'm like, so he's a vampire. And then Louis reveals they're in a relationship together. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm just thinking to myself, should you be in a relationship at this moment? Because I don't know how long it's been between you and Lestat, especially given the fact that it's revealed that after the Mardi Gras, right, that the events of how Louis is remembering things is apparently he is kind of like, what is implying is that how he's remembering things is not actually how it went down. Like the way he says, like, him and Claudia, they couldn't bear to burn Lestat's body. Is it? Which doesn't make sense to Claudia's character, because she hated Lestat. Like, she was the one who planned to kill him. She came up with the whole plan to kill him. So it doesn't make sense for her to be like, she couldn't bear to burn his body. That didn't make sense. So it's like Louis is remembering things with kind of rose tinted glasses, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he's remembering it with rose tinted glasses. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like how a person who's probably been in an abusive relationship would probably reflect back on a person. They're not going to really see the negativity of everything. They're just going to see it as like, oh, he was such and such this way, or she was such and such way. It's not he remember. And the fact that he didn't kill Lestat, which he should have done, he didn't kill him. He purposely slits his throat. He's drained of all blood, right? So he's not dead. He's just weak. So he puts him in a suitcase and leaves him out for the trash, because he knows the trash is going to go what? To the dumpster. Where are you going to find at the dumpster? Rats. That he can feed on. Lestat's not going to like feeding on rats, because he prefers humans. But he's going to feed on rats and slowly get himself back together. So the fact that we know that Lestat is not dead, I don't know if they're gonna have him come back at the season 2. If they do have him come in season 2, it's probably maybe be at maybe the end, like this big reveal, like, hello Louis, or something like that. And it's gonna be like with him and Armand and shit. It's gonna be fucking something that leads into season 3, maybe. I don't know. That's how I'm figuring that's how it's gonna go down. Yes, Claudia would have had a bonfire party. Yes. The real Lestat. That's a good thing. Yes, flawed memory, because every time the interviewer was questioning Louis about an aspect or a detail of something, he's like when he was in the swamp with the dude, he was like, was it raining or was it dry? It was like a question of like a thing about his memory. You said it was raining, you said it was dry. It was like his flawed memory is how he's remembering everything. And Lestat, there's another thing we haven't seen the real Lestat, like with Lestat, even with Lestat himself and him telling himself, like when he asked him about who made you, like a part of me wants to believe that Lestat was telling the truth about the vampire who made him, but a part of me feels like some of that was truth and some of that was a lie to make us feel well, not just us, the audience, but for Claudia and Louis, especially Louis, to feel for him, because we also see that like they're going supposed to be going through this plan of killing him, but we see Louis is kind of struggling with that because he's like, I'm gonna fall for him again. I'm gonna essentially go back into how he was, right? Especially when they're dancing with each other at the ball and stuff, and he looks so forlorn and like, I miss you. Like, it's in his eyes. It's like the actor's not really saying anything. It's just how he's portraying it with his eyes. He's like, he's looking at the star like, I missed you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh my God, Louis, Louis. I think he saved him deliberately because if he wanted to get rid of Lestat, they would have put him in the fire like they did Lestat's little girlfriend that he decided to turn into a vampire that he had spying on Claudia and Louis, listening and everything. If he really wanted him gone, he would have been in the fire with her, burning and screaming. But he put him in the trunk, which can be accessed also from the, as he stated, from the inside as well, because that's how they have them designed, because they're vampires, and so when they travel and stuff, they have to be able to get out themselves. And he puts them in the trash. The trash goes to the dumps, and we know Louis has no issue eating off rats. So and that's all you're gonna find at the dump is rats and roaches. I don't think roaches gonna have that much of a blood supply. I'm not a vampire, so I don't know. But you're gonna find a bunch of rats. And all he did was he didn't kill the stat, he just slit his throat. So he's just drained the blood. He's still alive. He's just physically weak and really can't move that much. So for him to get his strength back up, he's gonna need a lot of supplies. I mean, a lot of blood. So he's gonna get that from the rats at the dumpster. Because if he really wanted to kill the stat, he would have put his ass in the fire, not in a trunk to be picked up by the trash to be taken to the dump. So Louis, a part of Louis, yes, did save Lestat. He may not have been like consciously, but I believe it's subconsciously because a part of him still loves him. And I think that's just because a part of him still like, even though we know it's an abusive relationship. Sadly, for a lot of people who have been in those type of relationships, a part of them still loves the person that abused them, because they did have some moments that was probably good. Like before the abuse happened, it probably was good for a lot of people that had been in the relationship. It probably was good until it wasn't. And you also got to think about how that does with your mental. Like they're treating you all nice, buying you flowers and telling you all these sweet good things, telling you things you want to hear. It's a play on your emotions, right? And then of course when you do something they don't like, then here comes the manipulation, here comes the gaslighting, and for some people it may just be an emotional abuse. For some people it's going to be a physical abuse, and for Lestat Louis it was mostly manipulation. It's emotional. Oh, I love you, Louis. Oh, she means nothing to me. She's just something I see on the side. You know what I'm saying? It's that constant thing. Then of course it gets to the point where it gets physical, and for Louis and Lestat, that's when Claudia comes back. She questions about she'd been doing reading about the vampires. Like, we can't be the only vampires. We can't be the only vampires. There's got to be other ones around us. Because, like, look at this mythology from all around the world. Like, every culture has some sort of vampire myth. So we clearly cannot be the only three. Lestat won't tell them nothing about other vampires or anything else other than what he allows them to know. It's like he's gatekeeping, knowledge, right? And it comes into this thing where him and Louis fight because Lestat's feeling like, oh, Claudia is trying to take Louis away from me. Nobody's trying to take somebody away from you, sir. Maybe if you stop being manipulative and abusive, maybe we can actually love you. Okay, show us actual genuine affection and stop trying to manipulate us and put in places like how you want us to be played. We're not puppets, right? You're trying to be a puppet master and we're your puppets. That's not going to work, right? So all that accumulates, and the physicalness gets into when him and Louis starts fighting, right? It gets physical. Like he's literally, cause he's older, he's stronger than Louis. So it's he's literally beating the crap out of Louis. Like Louis was not gonna win that fight. He was not gonna win the fight, especially when you got the gift of flight, and I can't fly, and you literally just dropped me from the air. You literally dropped me. Just let me fall because I don't want to tell you. Because you want me to be like, tell me you don't want me, Louis. Tell me you don't want me, Louis. Like, sir. Yeah. So with Louis is that emotional connection that's gonna take time for him to get over. And for him jumping into a relationship with Ahmad, I don't think he's fully over that relationship with Lestat, and he's just jumped into another relationship, which is not healthy. Like really needs to just be on his own and just work on himself. Like from an emotional standpoint of like you know as a person, when you've been in a relationship, especially if something abusive like that, you need to just be on your own. Just no relationships, just be on your own. Go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot you gotta try to unpack so you could actually get into. So if you do get a relationship, it's healthy. So you could be able to so you could see. So you be able to recognize the signs, so you don't get into another abusive relationship again. And for a lot of people that have been in abusive relationships, they just literally hop from one to another until, for some of them, sadly, that relationship ends up costing them lives, or they get up, or they get point, or they get so damaged to the brink of death that that's when they realize, okay, I need to get some help or something like that. But for some people, it's, I mean, it depends on the person, but for when you're dealing with abuse, that's a lot. Yeah, they barbecued them so quick. Yeah, the locks is on the inside. Yeah, just like with their coffins, like they can be open up from the outside and the inside because they're sleeping in them, so they have to be able to because essentially they're mortal, they're dead, so people are just gonna see them as a dead body. So you can be like, oh, it's a dead body, and you're not really gonna think about it. You know what I'm saying? If you see a dead body, you're not really gonna think about it unless you're a person who's a gamer or something like that. Your first thought probably like, is this a zombie? Is this a vampire? That's probably how our minds would work. But for the average person, it's just that bad. You're not really gonna think twice about it. Yep, it's that emotional abuse. Well, I hope they give us reasons why Lestat won't tell him anything. But if you're gonna be their maker, because that's what Lestat is. Lestat made both of them. He made Louis and he made Claudia because of Louis. But I mean, as their maker, if they have questions, especially with Claudia, she wants to know about other vampires. Like, I think they have a right to know about this information. I think that's as a right. You can't. It's like bringing. Since he's a maker, think about like say you're a parent, right? You bring a child into this world. The child, you're the one that has to teach the child, right? You have to teach the child what they need to what they need to know, what they need to learn, manners, how to so they can be a proper person in society. And for the stat, he's their maker. So but since they're vampires, he has to be the one to essentially navigate them in this new world because he made them. So he is the one that has the knowledge that if they have questions about vampirism, all this stuff, he's the only one they can ask, and they can go to for answers. They can't get it from nobody else. I mean, because we saw what happened when Claudia ran into another vampire. They didn't show it, but we know what happened. And so Lestat keeping information from them is I don't think it's good, and I'm not sure the reasons why he would keep information from them, other than control. That's the only reason. Because if you don't have any knowledge, right? If you don't have any knowledge, then you're going to be reliant on this person, right? Because you don't have the knowledge, so you're going to go to them for it. So to me, it's about keeping control. It's how he keeps control of Louis. Is how he tries to keep control of Claudia. Yes, keeping them ignorant, because if you keep people ignorant, if you keep someone ignorant, you control them because they're relying on you for your source, right? It's all about power, power and control. Yep. All he had to do was let her go. Like, she was going on, she was on a train. She was like, "I'm free." Like, there was no reason to go on that train, kill those people, do what he tell Claudia what he told her, like, because he was telling her, like, "Oh, when you ran into that vampire, I heard everything." I'm like, "Sir, like, there was no reason to go to that train and bring her back." But he brought her back because he needed to control Louis. That was the main reason. He needed Claudia for Louis, because Louis was all upset about Claudia leaving and stuff like that. Because that happened before when Claudia first left. So now she's leaving again. But Louis was fine with the time. But he needs Claudia. But because he knows how much Louis cares about Claudia, so he needs her to control Louis. It's literally about control and manipulation with Lestat. That's what it was about. He needs to control Louis. Yes, controlling every time. That's why he brought it back, because he needed Louis. He needed to control Louis. It's always about control and manipulation with Lestat. And that is sad, because I feel like they could have a beautiful relationship. I feel like it could be a beautiful one. But Lestat, for whatever reason, it's just, I don't know. So maybe once we finish with the Interview the Vampire, because someone told me they were supposed to be adapting a lot of Anne Rice's works. So maybe we'll get a series where it's just gonna be about Lestat and his origins. Hopefully, if they do that, I hope they keep the same actor, because he is amazing as Lestat. He is amazing. Like, he is amazing. And I looked up how many books are in the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles. That is a lot. That is a lot. It's a lot. I mean, if they decide to do it, and with AMC, and they keep it the way they kind of have it going, like, they could have some good seasons with some of these books. They could have a really good season, and also is the writing is good, because I feel like a lot of shows, like, when they go into longevity, I feel like the writing starts to slack. But if they keep the good writing, they keep good actors, like, keep your boy for Lestat and Louis, because I'm not sure how many times Louis is in a lot of these books, but they have some good series on the hand if they want to adapt the rest of them, because I've seen the '90s film. I love the '90s film. It's a pretty good film. My love makes my love for vampires cool. Woo! And I've seen the Queen of the Damn film, which a lot of people did not like the Queen of the Damn film. I mean, I understand why, because I read about what the Queen of the Damn was supposed to be, because I haven't read the book, so I just read, like, a synopsis. I could see why y'all was mad. I could see why y'all was mad. I see why. It did not do the book justice. But the music of the Queen of the Damned, that music was good, though. I ain't gonna lie. If I had to say anything good about that movie, was the music. I listen to that music a lot. The soundtrack. Which one is my favorite song? System. I think that's the one. It's the one by Chester Bennington, the one he sings. That one, that's my favorite song. That's the song that plays when Aaliyah, as Akasha, she walks into the bar and she starts doing her little belly dance and she slaughters everybody in there. When the song playing, that's my song right there, and that's my favorite scene. She kills everybody in there, takes the dude's heart out, drinks it, crushes it, turn people into flames and slices people up and up. I'm like, I love that scene. That's like my favorite scene. But other than that probably the only two good things I could say about that film. That's about it about that film. That's it. The music and Aaliyah, like, she ate for me. She ate in that movie. Yeah, she looked good. Yes, it had bops like that season, like that soundtrack was so good. Like, that entire soundtrack, I love it. What I wish, though, if I could have, like, if y'all remember the scene in the Queen of the Dam, is is when he's on the beach with the violin and he's playing that violin. If I could have that violin sequence, just that violin part, like a full track of just that violin part, I would love it. Cause I like that little violin part. I love that violin. I love it. Okay, so season 2 will conclude the first book, and season 3, but okay, okay. So that's okay. So season 2 is going to conclude the first book. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, but yeah, I'm really excited about the show. Like this show is good. Like when it comes to TV in general, like I felt like a lot of shows. I don't know. Maybe because we went through a pandemic. I don't know. I don't know if because of the pandemic or because we had that writer strike. But I feel like a lot of shows are lacking, right? Some of them are just lacking. Some of them are just like, I felt like they had a good idea, but then it's like, ugh. But a lot of shows now, you know, like we got some good shows. Like we got some good ones. We got some good ones. The violin. I love that violin part. Yeah, but it's on the movie score, but I wish it was just this longer. Cause on the score it goes, it's a violin, and it goes into like the part where he's like chasing her and stuff, like he's chasing the lady on the beach. Like if they would just have a track that was just straight violin and not the part where he's like where the music intensifies as he's chasing after the girl. If it's just the violin, that'd be cool. This track it was just straight violin, just straight violin. Yes, draw the good shows. Yep. Yep. And I feel like some shows that are good, they don't get a season 2. Like a lot of shows don't get a season 2. And they'd be like, "Oh my god, it was so good. Why you didn't get renewed? Why you didn't get renewed? Why?" Cuz even shows like before all the streaming stuff, like before streaming became like this big, like when it was still just Netflix, like the early days of Netflix. Like I don't know if you guys seen it, but it was a show about Dracula. It was on NBC. Only had one season. That was a good show. That should have got a season 2. There was another show called Damien, and that was on, what channel was that on? I can't remember the network it was on, but it was on network TV. And the Damien show is pretty much was about if you seen the movie The Omen, it was about the Omen. So it's supposed to take place after, I think, the second Omen movie, because there's 3 Omen films. So you have the first one, the second one. So it takes place after the second one. So it kind of ignores the third film. So it's just after the second one. It's about Damien. Now he's older, right? And he has to sort of fulfill his role as the Antichrist. And I like how they kind of went more into the lore of the whole Antichrist thing. I love that. They only had one season. It was good. It should have had a second season. And there was another show, The Exorcist, that had 2 seasons, and that had a good plot line. They cut it off at 2 seasons. Like there, I'm being given good shows, and you're not giving me the rest of these shows. But shows like the Kardashians is on seasons 20s or whatever. Like why? Yes, Netflix has been known for casting a lot of stuff. Like I heard so many people mad at a lot of shows. Like, oh my god, this show come back. Oh, sorry, it's canceled. Like, would you get people invested in a show and then cancel it? Like, what's the point? And not only that, but then you keep raising your subscription prices. Why are we raising prices and you're canceling shows? Why? Like, I'm starting to think maybe Netflix has a fetish, a cancel fetish. Like, yes, give them the show. Oh, cancel it. Yes. I'm starting to think it's a fetish at this point. It's a cancel fetish. Because it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I mean, I still have my Netflix account, but I really don't watch anything on it. Like, I have a like, okay, like if you go on Netflix, you know how you can set stuff to add to your watch list. Do you know how many shows I have in my watch list on Netflix? A bunch. But I'm afraid of watching because I'm like, is this even gonna get another season? I don't want to watch it because I'm like, is she even gonna get another season? Do I want to give my time and be invested if you're not gonna get another season? I don't know. I don't know. Yes, they're edging us. They're edging us hard, bro. Oh my god, yeah. But like my Netflix watch list is it's like crazy. Like so many stuff because I have so many people recommend stuff to me. Like, oh, you should watch this. Like, okay, I'm gonna add it to my watch list. I'm just like that's literally what I've been doing a lot. Like my sister, she's been watching Bridgerton. She's like, oh, you haven't watched it yet? I'm like, no, I have not watched Bridgerton yet. I have not watched Bridgerton yet. And I know people love it because I've heard so much stuff about it. I've not watched Bridgerton. Stranger Things, I know that's another big one that people like. I've seen what I've seen of Stranger Things. I think I watched season 1. And I think I have some aspect of. I think I reacted to a couple of episodes of Stranger Things on my playlist. But Stranger Things was just a show I just could not get into. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know why. It's just usually with shows I try to get invested into at least one character. But for Stranger Things, there was not a character that I liked it that I could get invested in. I just didn't watch the rest of Stranger Things. I watched season 1. I like the premise of it. I like the premise. The premise is good. I like the premise. The whole upside down this Demogorgon thing. Premise is good. I just couldn't get into it. Let's see what else I watched on Netflix. Big Mouth. I watched that. And I watched his spinoff with about like love bugs and stuff. Like I watched the spinoff. I watched that. But other than that, Netflix. I'm not really on like that. In terms of streaming service, I'm really not on Netflix like that. I'm mostly probably if you gonna watch me watching something on stream, I'm probably gonna watch something on Hulu. I'm watching something on Disney Plus because I love Disney. I'm a Disney kid. You know what I'm saying? We all grew up with that classic Disney, and then, now with Disney, with them having the MCU, the Marvel stuff, they have Star Wars, they have National Geographic, and now they then partnered with Hulu, so now you can watch Hulu on Disney Plus. So I deleted my Hulu app. I'm like, I don't need 2 apps if I can watch Hulu on Disney. So I deleted my Hulu app. And I just have my Disney Plus app, and then the other streaming thing I have is HBO Max, because that's where you get all my. That's why I get my DC stuff, and Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. That's where I get that from, and of course, I have Crunchyroll, that's where I get my animes from. That's about it. But Netflix, I got it, but I really don't watch much on it. I really don't. I really don't. In terms of streaming, like what streaming service y'all guys use? Like, cause that's the ones I mostly use. Disney, because it has everything on there. I got Hulu on there now. So Disney, Crunchyroll, and Max. That's the ones I primarily use. My streaming. That's it. Cause I know Shogun. I heard a lot of people talk about Shogun. I definitely need to watch that. Heard that was good. Definitely want to watch that. I heard The Bear was good. Piracy. Hey, there's nothing wrong with piracy. Hey, if they keep raising prices, we gonna have to go back to piracy. Hoist the colors. That's all I'm gonna say. Hoist the colors. Hoist the colors. Hoist the colors. Hoist them. You can't keep raising prices and still expect people to pay when everything else is rising. Yeah, hoist the colors. Screw it. Hoist the colors. We did it before. We do it again. This as long as we don't get viruses on our stuff. Cause I remember the days. If y'all remember LimeWire, when you was trying to get that music, LimeWire, you got your computer virus because you trying to get that new song. As long as we ain't getting to those type of situations, I think we good. Yes, Disney evil, but they feed us. Yes. Oh, have you seen the new Aliens trailer? Oh my god, that trailer! Oh my god, I've never been so hyped for an Aliens movie. Like when it comes to like the Aliens versus Predator, Xenomorphs are my favorite. I like the Predator, but Xenomorphs, they just my favorite. They just my favorite. I have the entire Alien collection. I have like the what I think was only 2 films of it with the I guess you call them the prequels. of the Alien films, the Prometheus stuff. I have those. Like when it comes to that, I have all that stuff, and I have Alien versus Predator, which was good too. Like when it comes to those versus movies, like a lot of people kind of crap on them, but I just wanted to see two monsters fight each other. That's literally why I watch these for. I really don't care about the people because you're just collateral damage. Okay, you're just collateral damage. I really don't care about your stories. I just want to see a xenomorph fight a predator. Okay, I just want to see Freddy fight Jason. I don't care about the people. I just want to see them fight. That is it. That's why I watched the movie, to see you fight. And I got my wish. Thank you. That's it. Yes, LimeWire. Ooh, I remember when I did that on my mama's computer. She was mad at her. Oh boy. Ooh. LimeWire, yes, LimeWire. Like people don't understand what we went through back in the day. Okay, when we had to get music, when we had to watch anime. Okay, you had to go and watch anime in parts. One episode would be like 5 or 3 parts. You had to watch it in parts. Okay, and you better hope that the person who put that up there had the whole entire episode. You better hope they had the entire episode, because you be like, oh man, yeah, man, you waiting, you just waiting. That's what we went through. Okay, that was our struggle. That was our struggle, right? That was our struggle. They don't understand the struggle. Oh, Prey was good. That was good. Oh yeah, Godzilla. I've watched all the Godzillas except for the 2 that recently came out. I think it's Godzilla -1 and the other one with Kong. That new one with Kong. I haven't seen those 2 yet, but I heard they both was good. So I definitely need to watch that. And also the Planet of the Apes films. That film series that has been good. And also Disney has it on has that on there too. I'm like, what? Disney got all the Planet of the Apes? Like there's a whole sequence right there that said Planet of the Apes. It's the 2011 reboot one. Then is the original films, and then is of course there's the one that's done by Tim Burton. That was like what 2001. So I'm like, oh snap, okay. I can watch me some Planet of the Apes. Okay. You can watch these Planet of the Apes. Like yeah, I can't wait to see Kingdom of Planet of the Apes, because like that is gonna be good. That is gonna be amazing. What else movies coming out? Is that what else? The Aliens, can't wait for that one. Deadpool, I'm definitely gonna go see that. I'm gonna see me some Deadpool and Wolverine. What else? Something else is supposed to be coming out. I can't remember. But some other films I'm definitely excited to see. Oh, Monarch series. I heard about that. I haven't seen it, but I heard about the Monarch series. So I definitely might check that out as well too. Like, if there's any good like recommendations of like movies or TV series, y'all can leave them in the comments, because I've been hearing about a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff I want to watch. I just need to, set time to watch everything. But yeah, a lot of stuff I want to check out. But yeah, like games too. I want to play. Well, not really that many games. I mean, the 5. I mean, it's been out for a minute, but with the 5, there's not many games on there that I'd be like I want to play. Like the only games I want to play on that thing so far has been God of War. I want to play God of War. I want to play Hogwarts, because I love Harry Potter. I'm a Harry Potter girly. Ravenclaw house. I want to play Baldur's Gate 3, because that has been up all on my For You page on YouTube. Like this freaking vampire Astarion. I'm like, I've never played Baldur's Gate 3, but that character has been popping up on my YouTube thing. I'm like, who is this character? Who is this person? Who is this? And I'm finding out it's from a game called Baldur's Gate 3. He's a vampire. I'm like, I love vampires. So that pulled me in already with the term vampire, because I'm like, I love vampires. But it's also an RPG game, which I've never played those before. But I kind of want to play it, because you made me intrigued by this one character, because he won't get off my freaking For You page. So if I ever get that game, I'll go ahead and play it. But I need a physical disc. I don't like the idea of having digital content, because I don't really own digital. You know what I'm saying? Because they could, if they lose the license for that, they could just remove it off the platform, and then you don't have it no more. So I prefer to try to get physical anytime. Where's my movies? Where's my music? a TV show, I try to get physical, like, because at any point in time it could be removed from that platform. Yeah, you pay for it, but once they remove it, it's gone. Jedi games. Hades, fantastic. Hades 2. Waiting page for Dragon Age, Dread Wolf, and the next Mass Effect. Oh yeah, I heard about the Jedi games. Good. Mass Effect, is that only for like Xbox? I'm not sure if I know if it plays on PlayStation. Because I pretty much play on PlayStation. Like I've tried when I was over at a friend's house. I tried playing Xbox because I'm not used to the Xbox controllers and like the buttons on it. It reminds me of a math equation. Like because you guys have like a Y and a B and an A. It makes me feel like I'm doing like quadratic formula or something. Like it really does make me. I'm like, am I doing a math problem? Because I'm used to like the square, the circle, the X, the triangle. I know exactly what those buttons is, so I have to physically look down. I know exactly what those buttons are, so I don't have to physically look down to look at it. But when I'm playing Xbox, I have to look at it because I'm not used to controls, so I have to look at what the button is for me to play it and stuff. Yeah. And Dragon Age, is Dragon Age Hades? Those are RPG games. So what time it is? It is 7:47. So we got a couple of more minutes before I end this. So overall, okay, Dragon Age RPG series and Hades as a roguelike games. Oh, okay, I might try those out. Cause I do like the idea of trying stuff I've never played before. If I've never played before, I'll give it a try. Cause I hate people that be like, oh, I don't like that. Like, have you played it to say you don't like something? Like, how can you say you hate something? If you never tried it. You know what I'm saying? It's like saying I don't like this. Like, have you tried it before? Like, I always say give things a try and then make your opinion. Because that's the only way, honestly, you can know if you like something or not. So, yep. So, this was a nice stream. This was my first stream. For everyone that came and commented, thank you for coming. I'm excited. Thank you for coming. This was my first live stream. I wasn't really sure of how this was going to work. So I figured, try to keep everything on topic. I started with, I talked about Fallout, talked about X-Men 97, which then went into a discussion of MCU and DCEU. And then I talked about Hazbin Hotel, and then I talked about Interview with a Vampire. And now I'm talking about gaming. Try Hades on a Women Fell in Love. See? You tried something new and you found out you liked it. See? That's how things happen. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I had a nice little discussion. Talked about some shows I've watched so far. I'm definitely excited for this Sunday. We get some more Interview with a Vampire. We're going into season 2. Let's see. House of Dragon, I believe, starts next month, I think. House of Dragon season 2 starts next month. I think My Hero Academia season 7 has started, and I've only finished seasons 1 through 4. I just literally finished season 4. I have not watched 5 and 6 yet, so I have to catch up on those 2 seasons. And I have not even finished season 1 of Demon Slayer. I know I'm behind on a couple of things, but I'm working at the pace. I still work that 9 to 5. And my schedule might be changing, which I actually need to change it. Which I actually need to check on my schedule, actually see what's my new schedule going to be. because I'm now going to be expected to work at least one Saturday out of every month, which I love my weekends, but now I'm going to be expected to work one Saturday out of every month. Ugh, I'm not happy about that, but hey, it's the job, you know. So, in terms of reactions going forward, going to be finishing My Hero Academia. Those going to still be on the channel. Bungo Stray Dogs, Interview the Vampire, House of the Dragon. I said what? Bungo Stray Dogs, My Hero Academia, House of the Dragons. You gotta finish Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. Gotta finish those. Movie reaction wise, I will be doing Five Nights at Freddy's, doing some old Studio Ghibli films like Howler's Moving Castle because I've never seen it. Princess Mononoke, have not seen that. Movie wise, what else I want to add to the channel? Just, you know, movies I have not seen before because there's a lot. You'd be surprised I've not seen. Like there's a lot I have not seen, so you know, those will be coming to the channel. Gaming will also be done on Twitch, so I'll be doing some gaming on Twitch. Later this year, I will be having a podcast. So it's just like I got a lot of plans coming up for this channel and other stuff. So it's just a lot of plans I have coming on. But again, I do want to thank you guys all who came to the stream. I thank you. Thank you for commenting, leaving your comments. It really means a lot. It really means a lot because I like the idea of that, you know, with social media. Like, even though we do, like, when we talk about social media, a lot of people, we tend to focus on the negative aspects of social media. And I think we should also look at the positives because it allows us to connect with people across the globe that share similar interests. You know what I'm saying? We share similar interests. We could talk about things. We could talk about shows that we like. We could talk about music. We could talk about movies, food, art, whatever, video games. We could talk about these things. And I just think that's just a beautiful aspect of, you know, social media, YouTube in particular. Because, like, right now I'm live streaming and I'm talking to you guys, which is awesome. It's absolutely amazing. And I honestly do want to thank you guys for jumping into this live stream and talking with me. I really do thank you. But I'm going to leave you guys because I know some of y'all are probably about to make some dinner. You probably got to eat. Or if you're in another part of the globe, you probably got to wake up in the morning, get to work, get to school. Or just maybe it's an off day and you about to chill and relax. Enjoy your off day. Enjoy that freedom. But me, I'm about to go try to figure out what to eat and get ready for the work day tomorrow. Because you got to hustle. You got to make that money. Even though everything is rising and rising and your salary don't match. But I do want to thank you guys for joining. It really does mean the world to me. Like, it really does mean a lot. And because Mother's Day is also this Sunday, I hope you guys have a beautiful Mother's Day, whether you're a mother yourself. Hard pass on House of Dragon for me. Too much gratuitous misogyny. I mean, hey, if House of Dragon ain't your thing, that's cool. That's cool. Me, I like it because I like the political intrigue. I like the political aspect of it. You know, that stuff like that has always intrigued me. Like the political aspect, like the backstabbing and trying to get these people on your side. That stuff has always fascinated me because, like, wow, y'all really want the crown this bad? Like the throne is this powerful that you gotta backstab people to get it. Like, Jesus. And because it shows you a lot of human behavior too. That's another thing. Like, just seeing how far people will go for power. That's another thing. Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoy your night. I hope you guys have a beautiful Mother's Day when that comes, whether you're a mother yourself or you come celebrate with your mom, or if you're a fur mom, you know, you got some cats or you got some dogs or you got some bitter lip lizards. I don't know. Hey, enjoy. But thank you all and have a beautiful night. Bye.